A football Monday. And a football Monday with you heading into the bye week. And you're 6-2 heading into the bye week. If you're Eagle fans, good afternoon, everyone. Appreciate all of you coming aboard here. College football news, too. We'll get to that a little bit later on in the program. Sunday was a telling day in the NFL, for sure. We're going to get to all of that. We're going to go by the numbers. We'll give you our quick takeaways. By the way, Super Chats go to the top. Like this gentleman here, Xander, started the program off for us, giving us a Super Chat. We will go to that. And also, please do me a favor and hit the like button. Just want to put this out there for how good Jalen is passing. He has 15 TDs so far. He had 18 all of last season. Absolutely. Well, last year they were relying on the run. This year they're not relying on the run. There's only been one football game that they relied on the run, and that was against one of the worst run defenses in pro football. I mean, everything, unlike the rest of the shows that you hear, everything will be put in proper context here today. And we're going to get into what we saw in that football game on Sunday. By the way, Kurt Warner, the legendary Hall of Fame quarterback, will be with us at 3:30. Gary Cobb, Fox 29, will be with us at 4:30. Howard Eskin will be with us at 5:30. Xander's going to be at the top around at the 5 o'clock hour. We have a power-packed show for you. Do me a favor. We're looking forward to talking to Kurt Warner and getting Kurt Warner's take on Jalen Hurts' season so far. So I may have an opinion. You may have an opinion. But at the end of the day, we're going to talk to a Hall of Fame quarterback and get his takeaway on what they've seen so far with this football team and what you saw this weekend, especially on Sunday with the Eagles. 38-20, they get the victory, as we said. They are 3-1 inside the NFC East, and also they are 6-2 heading into the bye week? They are 6-2 heading into the bye week. Them, and I believe the Buccaneers are also 6-2. I think the Packers are 5-1-1 after last night's win over the Steelers. So we'll talk about all the teams in the NFC. We'll get your takes here in a minute. Some telling things in that game. So let me get to them right away. You took care of business. The New York Giants, it makes that game 2 weeks ago even more perplexing that you got your asses handed to you by that team. Now, I guess, listen, Cam Skattebo being injured like that, hopefully, and prayers go out to him that he has a full recovery. You hope that he didn't have that tendon ruptured, because if you do, that's life-threatening. I've seen people almost lose their life with that. So, yeah, I mean, Skattebo, I'm with you there, Trey. No question about it. I think you have to look at that and just say, prayers with him. Giants were so limited. I mean, by the end of the football game, the Giants had their practice squad playing in the secondary and playing at corner. There were two dudes that they activated 3 days ago off the practice squad to play cornerback in that game against Devontae Smith. Yeah, I'm not thinking that's going to end well for New York. So I enjoyed the beating, but I liked it more how Hurts was spreading the ball around without the diva. Kyle will get to that as well. So, again, I mean, well, again, you see this here? No excuses? You're right. Well, I'm not that impressed with you taking care of business either. I mean, I'm not that impressed with the opponent and what you did. I'm not. You took care of business. Congratulations to you for not robbing a bank. Now, where I will go is how it looked. I don't really care about the New York Giants. I care more about what you did in the ball game that's going to benefit you when you play Green Bay and what you play against Detroit, Chicago, some of the teams that you're going to play down the line, like Buffalo. Those teams there, I mean, what you did yesterday is going to help you and set you up for what you did and what you're going to do with the upcoming schedule. 158.3 followed up by one. The guy's not an elite passer from the pocket. I don't give a shit what you're saying. I'm not going there. It's not what he does. That'll never change. That will never change. And Kurt Warner will tell you that at 3:30. Get this, folks. Kurt Warner will tell you he's an elite athlete. Okay? He's an elite athlete that plays the position. And that's what he is. So we'll find out in the next couple games and all the things that you did with those 8 ball games to get you set up for this next run. I think you got a pretty good schedule coming up. I think you're really going to find out who you are. I think a lot of these teams in the NFC are going to find out who they are coming up, especially the Eagles coming out of the bye. After the bye, you've got Packers, Lions, Cowboys, Bears, Chargers. Then you've got that respite with the Raiders. Then you've got Commanders and Bills and Commanders. So that's a pretty formidable schedule. And we're going to find out over the next 2 months what the team is going to do, what the team can do, what the team can't do. So for me, let's go to the numbers here. And I'll say it again. Was I impressed? I was impressed with how it looked, not what you did against the Giants. Again, Giants were very limited on both sides of the football. And again, I think this is going to help you when you get into those games against the better football teams here. So guys, do me a favor, please hit the like button. Here's what was impressive though. And here's the one thing I want to go, and I want to make sure you guys understand something. When you do play against a shitty team like the New York Giants, the one thing you always see a team do is take their foot off the gas pedal. The Eagles didn't take their foot off the gas pedal. Okay? I eat MOP who? I'm not sure what the fuck you're talking about, Dingbat, but thank you for the super chat. Thank you, my friend. Seals, where's Jonathan Taylor in your MVP race? He is having a spectacular season. On pace for 1,800 yards and 25 touchdowns. You talk about a guy who's killing it right now for the Indianapolis Colts. He is absolutely, just blowing people away. Now, is it a Saquon Barkley 2024 year? No. But Jonathan Taylor is having a spectacular season. All right. Here's what I did like about the game against the Giants. Guys took care of business against a shitty team, and you never took your foot off the gas pedal. That's how you handle shitty teams. You beat them up. And that's more to your identity. The Giants are irrelevant in this conversation here. They're a non-factor. Hey, by the way, I think the New York Giants either need to fire Brian Daboll or they need a big dom for Brian Daboll on the sidelines. You know, I said things about Nick Sirianni that were unbecoming of a coach on the sideline. Nick Sirianni looks like Tom Landry on the sideline next to Brian Daboll. You talk about fucking nuclear meltdowns? Guy, you can't act like that on the sidelines. Your football team gets hosed in a call, and I agree the officiating in that game on both sides was awful, but you can't melt down like that, Junior. You looked unbecoming. He is not an NFL head coach. Your team sees that. You're running into the blue tent 2 weeks ago. You're chasing down team doctors. You're getting fined, and you're acting like an asshole on the sidelines. Guy, you were unbecoming. If we're going to be like that with Nick Sirianni, we're clearly going to be like that even more so when a guy goes over and above what Nick was doing by hollering at the Kansas City Chiefs fans. Hey, that stuff is minor compared to what you saw there on the sidelines. I mean, the guy wanted to make a point with the red flag and the challenge flag, and he was totally wrong. He cost his team. That's emotions getting the best of your coach. Holy shit, guy. Act like you've been there a little bit. Go Birds, our real test begins with Green Bay. Yes, Now, again, you took care of business against the shitty Giants team. You held them to 13 first downs, which is phenomenal. One thing that's still hampering the Eagles, you are terrible on third down. And that wasn't really exposed at all in this game because you were running the football so well. So third down wasn't really an issue because you were winning first and second down. Nick has actually acted pretty mature for his standards this season, in my opinion. Yeah, I give that to you. I agree. I think he has. I do. You held, guys, do you understand how many drives were there total? There were 9 drives. There were 9 drives in the football game, and you held the Giants to 50 plays. That is exceptional. 50 plays? Nobody wins football games with 50 plays. 50 plays is ridiculous. They just absolutely took them apart. And the Eagles, the difference with their 57 plays was that all of those plays were big score opportunities. The quarterback was making huge plays in the passing game, and he was also, the running game was making huge plays and gashing plays in the run game. So I thought it was the Columbus, the Columbos as the refs, like the mafia guys. You would think with all the things going on in the NBA right now that you would be front and center. I saw it in the Bucks game too with the Saints. They called that. They said there was a whistle in that Bucks Saints game when Winfield had to scoop and score. There was no whistle. Even Jonathan Vilma, who's a Saint, goes like this. There was no whistle. They are not having a good year, the referees in the NFL. Not at all. 276 yards rushing. Holy cow. I mean, 8.4 yards per carry in the game. Incredible. You know, this is what, and I hear people, I even think I heard Xander say this. Good to see you, Sills. How you doing, my friend? Absolutely. Prayers to Scattaboo. Myles Garrett, 5 sacks, and is mad you chose money over winning. Don't want to hear him crying. Hey, dude, he wants to win. I agree with you. I saw him throw his helmet on the sideline, too. Hey, get this. So you see Saquon Barkley with 150 yards rushing, and you see the team with some great numbers in this game. And then what you do is you look at the overall numbers when you have a big game like this. I mean, those numbers are skewed because really the run game has had one game in 2 years, or one game prior, or one game since the divisional rounds. You really haven't had a run game since the divisional rounds of a year ago. So to sit there and go, your run game's back based off of one game against the New York Giants is ridiculous. I mean, let's see. 8 games, 9 games, 10 games. That's your best game in the last 11 ball games that you've run the ball well. So I'd be careful before we start talking about the run game being back. Hurts look calm and less stressed without AJ out there. I think you're able to spread the ball around when you don't have primary target. So, again, to finish up what were our takeaways with the game. Penalties were not an issue. There were no turnovers in the ball game. You had 427 yards of total offense. I thought you were able to throw the ball around. I mean, 7.5 yards like per play in the ball game. Every 2 times you touch the football, you're getting a first down, which is exceptional. So you took care of business, man. You really did. Jalen Hurts, 15 of 20, 20 passing attempts, 179 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's exceptional. Here's even more so the story of the game. Saquon Barkley, 14 carries, 150 yards, 10.7 yards per carry, and a touchdown. First play of the game. The guy was exceptional. No question, the star of the game was Barkley. Tank Bigsby, 9 carries, 104, 11-6. He also was exceptional. Really a great game by everybody on the offensive side. Devontae Smith, 6 catches, 84. I thought Dallas Goedert, 2 TD catches, 3 receptions for 28 yards. Slowly and silently, he's having one of the best years of his career. Hopefully, he can stay healthy and be a part of the run. Okay? What did you think of Jalix drop to Mike Hunt? I think Jalix Hunt is playing really good football the last couple weeks. I would say the last 8 quarters of football, he has showed up. He really has. He showed up. And defensively, I mean, Cooper DeJean continues. I said he'd be first team All-Pro. I think Zach Bond had a great game. I didn't think Reed was all that hot, but, you know, he showed up big. Kobe Dean continues to show that he's better than Jahad Campbell on this day, October 27th, 2025. He's better. That doesn't mean he will be and have a better career. Sacks by Ajomo, Davis, Carter, Jalix Hunt, bunch of quarterback hits. Very difficult to hit that quarterback because he's constantly moving around. By the way, Jackson Dart's going to be a problem for years to come. That kid's good. You can see the influence of Lane Kiffin on him and what he's brought to the table. Okay? Seals, are you seeing a Pro Bowler in the making with Hunt at edge if the production continues? You know, that was one of the things we said, that if we continue to see him, I thought that he would be, you know, one of my breakout players at the end of the year, I should say. So we'll see. 8 quarters, you're seeing him show up now. Pick 6. Yesterday, he was great in the game. I'm starting to see, I mean, I saw that too. That Coop got burned a bit in that game. But, yeah, no. My overall takeaway was the Eagles took care of business. They took care of business. It's a great follow-up to the Minnesota game. Now, Minnesota and the Giants aren't going anywhere. Still, what do you take away from games like that with the last – I don't think anybody 2 weeks ago, after you guys lost 2 games in a row, thought that the Eagles were going to lose to Minnesota and the Giants. Nobody thought you were going to lose, right? So, I mean, to sit here and be surprised that you won these 2 games, why are you surprised, some of you? I'm not dismissing it. I think there was great things to take away. Uche showed up. Again, not sure where you want me to go when we're talking about the new. I did. I did. I didn't say me. I said you. I said you, dude. Sills, Jalix Hunt just needs to finish his plays. He's disruptive, but needs, again, let's wait and see by the, you guys were telling, I thought Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, I thought as a duo, they played their best as a duo in that game. Sills, I wish the Eagles weren't on the bye so Hurts can ride this hot streak against Green Bay. Khalid, that's what we said in the post-game show. I thought, you know, for me, I would like to have seen Jalen continue, but you guys need health. Here, continue to get Landon some health. Cam Jurgens, we'll talk about Brett Toth's great game. He was exceptional against Dexter Lawrence. A.J. Brown, okay, get him healthy and really get everybody healthy as you go. And I'd rather take the health right now than the hot streak. But I get what you're saying, because we said that same thing. That, boy, I'll tell you what, I hate that they're kind of going on a bye here, because they're starting to feel a little bit like the Eagles again. Now, 8 quarters of football, it's Vikings and Giants. I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. That's a good comment. Who's the MVP of the offense and defense? Eight games, halfway through. You'd have to say Jalen is the MVP of the offense. Of the defense, Cooper DeJean or Zach Bond. You could pick one. Best show in the business. Happy Monday. Thank you, Gabe. I'd say Zach Bond or Cooper. Those two dudes have played really good for 8 football games. You're 6-2, and I really like the way Cooper DeJean can play. What coverage did the Giants run, man or zone? Man, they ran a ton of zone. I mean, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, well, then again, they had to because of the injuries. How can you play man? Sean, how would you play man with two dudes that came off the practice squad? Right? DT as a whole for the defense, I thought they were pretty good. I thought as a duo they were good. Sills, the bye week is here. I need Big Sills and Jacob to get through no Eagles football. I know you got a roster of guest show in the business, the best guest in the business. Yeah, Ray Didinger is going to join us on Thursday. Today we have Kurt Warner at 3:30. Let me see who else we got. I think we got Brian Westbrook this week as well. Brian, oh yeah, Xander. Brian Baldinger's tomorrow at 3:30. So we got Brian Baldinger tomorrow at 3:30 as well. And we got Kurt Warner today at 3:30. Ray Didinger on Thursday. And we're working on some other folks there too for you guys too. Okay. Seals, do you still think I didn't fucking say 9 wins, dickhead? I said 11. That was a year ago. A year late and $1 short. I didn't say 9 wins. I said you were an 11-win team. Where do you fucking get, dude? You know, there's a new one. Our team has a winning pedigree now. We can win ugly or pretty. Result is still the same. Look, I think there's a bunch of good teams with flaws in the NFC, and I think you're one of them. Leon, you have a super chat? We'll get to your super chat here. That is a lie. That is a fucking lie. Show me where I said that. Show me where I said that. Seals, you missed my super chat. I want your thoughts. Jalen on pace for over 30 passing TDs. Let's see here if he's on pace for over 30. I don't believe he is. I would have to say in the first 8 games, Daniel Jones is outplaying him. Mayfield wasn't great in that game and the Bucs won. I would say Josh Allen and I would say Hurts and Mahomes are in that conversation. Jalen Hurts right now is on pace. He is on pace for 32 TDs. He's on pace for 3,500 yards, and 32 touchdowns. I think that number will come down. And know this, if Jalen Hurts and the offense are able to run the ball, Leon, those numbers will come down. Okay? Hey, Marquise, show me. Show me. Show me. Post it on my X account. Show me. Okay? Show and timestamp now. He never said, hey, show me. Okay? Dak was in playoff mode. Hey, Dak Prescott's had a great year. He had a shitty game. I know. Hey, I don't have to justify to some loser like Marquise. He can't prove it. Says he had 4 TDs The offense ran for almost 300 yards. What do you mean it'll come down? Well, because if they start running the ball, Jalen Hurts' numbers will come down to be around 150 yards passing. He's not going to throw for 4 touchdowns and 3 touchdowns a game. That's not going to happen. Just like a year ago, those numbers will come down. Why? You don't have to play turnover football. And you're playing against better teams. They came down a year ago. They'll come down again. If you're running the football like you did yesterday, or even remotely close to that, his passing numbers will come down. Okay? All right? What if Jalen had a game like Dak? What would you say? I'd say it's normal. And the Eagles would still lose. And the Eagles would still win. Cowboys can't win without Dak playing A-plus football. So I think the Eagles are starting to figure it out. Well, okay. Listen, Prince, I think when you play Minnesota and you play the Giants, I think you got to temper with it, but I think it really is showing some signs. They took care of business. Now, Minnesota was a close game. Minnesota's got some talent on the football team. New York doesn't. So what they did against Minnesota, that was probably around right. Was a 6-point win. And New York doesn't have a lot of talent at all. And they were able to beat the piss out of them. So I think they took care of business the last 2 weeks. Jalen likes to be under center. It's totally been a difference in his game so far. I think teams are going to catch up with that, as they always do. Honestly, he's better there. Well, we'll see going into pretty tough part of the schedule here. The offense is more explosive. That's what I liked right there, Prince, is that they showed balance. I don't really care, once again, about the New York Giants. I care more about how the team and the optics, how it looked, spreading the ball around, which they did. You know what else, too, I liked? I liked Barkley involved in the passing game. Okay? I do. Okay? I mean, bro, Sills, you said 9-5 with 17 games. We get to skip out on 3 games. I never said 9 wins. I never in my entire life called you a 9-win team this year. A year ago, I did. Is Q trending to be a top 3 corner in the league? I don't know how you could call him a top flight corner when he plays 97% in zone. How about we do this, Mikey? He's turning out to be one of the best DBs in the business and playing in zone. Hey, I want to tell you guys something. After watching Darius Slay play, guys, I'm going to put it out there to you. That guy's cooked. That guy is cooked. He is cooked. I mean, I don't know if it's the offense he's in, but he's cooked. Okay? By the way, Hollywood, that was not pass interference on the Giant receiver. That was a touchdown. Now, again, the Giants got the better or the worst end of that officiating, but I thought the officials jobbed the Eagles too in many places. They were just terrible in that football game. Okay? Just a question. What A-plus football to you for a quarterback? I believe Jalen is top 3 to 5 in the MVP race after this week. So you put him in the MVP race beating the New York fucking Giants? Yeah, well, I don't. He's in the conversation. Top 3 quarterback playing against the Giants versus scout team guys in the secondary at corner? What are you, psycho? Says yesterday was a good game to build off of. Yes. It also raises the stakes. They found a formula yesterday that they should position us playing some best football when it matters. Correct. Let's see how we play against the good teams. Correct. This is hey, Josh, that's a common sense take right there. And they're improving. Absolutely true. Hey, Brett Toth played exceptional football. He played exceptional football. He did. Again, now look, There's plays in there where Lawrence had his way. He's one of the elite guys. And for him to play the way he played, incredible. Seals, did you play against Baldy? Yes. And he was a teammate. He'll be on tomorrow at 3:30. Balance is why some wanted McKee. Correct. One more time. Today, Kurt Warner, the Hall of Famer, will be with us at 3:30. We will also have Gary Cobb at 4:30. We will also have Howard Eskin. That'll be at 5:30, and Xander's going to be there at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. So we are going to have Kurt Warner at 3:30, and we'll talk to him about Jalen Hurts. Eagles making a move during the bye. You're getting Nolan Smith and Brandon Graham. Think about that. You're getting Nolan Smith back and Brandon Graham. Is Howie going to make a Jermaine Johnson move? That would be a third rounder. I don't know. Kiffin, one of the best situational play callers in college football. I think Lane Kiffin would be a great NFL coach. I do. I mean, Jackson Dart he is so ready to play in the NFL. The way that he keeps his eyes downfield, you see Brady talking about him, you could tell he's been coached and he's been prepared for the next level. You could tell that he reads defenses. You could tell that he knows how to set protections. He's got a great sense in the pocket on pressure. Jalen Hurts is still terrible at that, at pressure in the pocket and not feeling the sack. Dart has got escapability, has got a great presence in the pocket, and he's going to be, you get better players around him, he's going to be a good football player, and I think he needs a better coach. Okay? I mean, I think he's going to be a problem one day. Yeah, man, I thought Brett Toth, I thought he played exceptional. You know, the injury to Scadaboo, I've seen that on the field. And that's an ugly thing. I played in a football game where a guy almost lost his life. Get this, guys. I'm in a football game, and this guy was playing center. And he went down to the ground. He started screaming. I didn't know. And it was like this through his sock. I looked down at it, and it was as white as this piece of paper. I didn't know what it was. And then someone went like this. It was bone, and it had a piece of meat on the end of it. I looked at it. People started throwing up. And it went through his artery that was down there on his foot. Almost killed him. Almost killed him. Anytime you see compound fractures like that, you're hoping it didn't go through the skin. But when you get that kind of compound fracture, all kinds of issues, health-wise, pop up. So they immediately had a surgery for him, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully he comes back from that. Hopefully it's a clean break too. So I think we need an upgrade at safety. I think Bennett will be adequate. We still need edge help. Hey, Xander, I missed Josh's super chat. If we can get Josh's last one here, that $4.99 one. I appreciate you too, by the way, Josh. Thank you. Seals, did you warn Kurt that these guys are awful sensitive when you say something negative about Hurts? Absolutely not. I want Kurt Warner to give you his honest opinion, not be jaded by the people that listen to WIP or 97.5 because they got Glaze Fest going on. We're going to have Kurt Warner give his honest opinion on him, not some fucking Glaze Fest. That's not what we do here. Okay? Seals, getting Tank involved in the game and having success will go a long way to have some tread off of Barkley and save some tread. Both Tank, Saquon had successful run stretches. Yeah, they ran stretch plays, if you saw it. And they went 13 personnel. I saw it. Yes. Yes, I did. I saw it too. Hey, Samuel, if you keep that up, it'll be the last time I go to you. Scadaboo's a local kid. Oh, I didn't know that. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, Charles, didn't he go to Sacramento State before he transferred to Arizona State? Didn't he? Okay? I mean, didn't he? I thought he went to a place called Sacramento State and then transferred to Arizona State. Kurt Warner also doesn't tell the truth about why Allen hasn't won a chip, yet Brady has. Well, the reason is that Josh Allen doesn't have a great general manager, and it's not a very good roster. Baldy's breakdown of the O-line was amazing. Eagles were pancaking Giants left and right. The Eagle O-line had a great game. They really did. They had a great game. I like this show because it's real about football takes. The people talking shit is so. I know. Hey, Citizen Carson, get used to it. There's a bunch of Doomkoffs in here. Hey, and they, you know what? Always remember this, Citizen Carson. Anybody says that Sills doesn't watch the games, those are the people you got to laugh at. Because those are the people, they mean I don't see the game like them. Because they see the game like morons. I mean, Cam Scattaboo is from Rio Linda, California. He's not from PA. Oh, I thought he was a California kid. Here's my boy Pump. Sills, you see that brother Keeley? Who is he guarding? Can you name me the receiver who he was guarding? Jeez, that was beauty. Ringo had all the Giant wide receivers in jail. He's improving, Sills. Oh, my God. Against the Giants, bro, come on. Come on. You got to be kidding me. Okay? Hey, right? Actually, I see the game having put my hand in the dirt. Didn't he say 11-5 from what I remember at the beginning? Yeah, 11-5 is what I said. By the way, there's people with selective memory loss in here. Seals, did you like the jumbo packages with Fred Johnson? I like anything different. Anytime they could, like Jalen Hurts under center. Seals, can you name a Giants? No, I don't know. I like Jalen under center, by the way. I did. Why not give props to Ringo for shutting down no Giant receivers? Hey, congratulations for shutting down no Giant receivers. Okay. The double talk, an excuse for folks. First, they'll tell you how much better Allen is. He is better. A much better. He is better. Do you understand, guy? In NFL history, there's better players. Aaron Rodgers is a better player than Tom Brady with more skill. That doesn't mean he wins more. Nothing Tom Brady did in his career physically as a player did Tom Brady ever come close to doing. Hey, let me get this right. So, Myles Garrett had 5 sacks and is the youngest player in the history of the National Football League. With the amount of sacks that he has at 112 and a half, he broke Derek Thomas's record. He had 5 yesterday, but he doesn't have a ring. Are you going to try to fucking tell me Nolan Smith is better? Because he's got a ring? Says, come on, man. Wanda Robinson and Darius Slay was cooking quarterback, and Coop. Ringo was goated yesterday. Come on, Pump. He was goated. I love Pump, man. Hey, Walk. Thank you, my man. I am now addicted to this show. Do you take notes during the games? And can you spot the patterns as they are happening? Hey, the one against Minnesota was so obvious. They had AJ wide open out there. I go, you're really knowing they're going to throw the ball out there. They threw it down there. It ended the ball game. Some of these guys Brian Dable, he just came unglued on the sideline. He just came unglued. Okay? Just unglued. Hurts is doing nothing but win, period. I would go there a little higher than that. I think he's seeing the game as the starting quarterback in this league. I wouldn't say he's just winning. I mean, 4 TD passes. And following it up, what he had 3 the week before, he got 7 TD passes and no INTs in 2 weeks. You're going to start talking about a lot of efficiency there. Okay? Josh Allen, Mahomes, Lamar will always be better as talents than Jalen, but Hurts has taken better advantage of what's around him. Yeah, I tell you this, he's the smartest guy on seeing the game around him. I think he's a smarter player than Lamar. I think Josh Allen is getting better coaching under Joe Brady. I think Mahomes just has a GOAT coach. And I think what hurts. We'll ask Kurt Warner at 3:30 Eastern. I think it's all the different voices in his ear the last couple of years that has made him go like this a little bit in his career when it comes to situational play calling, when it comes to his consistency in the pocket. I think all that plays a factor. Just a great player. He's just a great player. Just a great football player. I mean, his tackling abilities and his shutdown ability to be able to close like the lanes and everything. He's just exceptional. Dude, if you were going to redraft that guy and he was, I don't know what pick he was in the second round, but if you were going to redo that again, Jesus, man. Hey, where did Christian Gonzalez go in the draft? Wherever Christian Gonzalez went in the draft, Cooper DeJean should go. I think he's a better player than I just think he is, man. He went 40th? Shit. That guy's top 15 best. I mean, he's like 15, 16, 17. I mean, that's called value drafting. That guy is by far a first-round pick. Just by far a first-round pick. Myles Garrett could have been in Philly, but he chose money over winning. You shouldn't feel bad for him. He started a job in Cleveland. By the way, Cleveland's got one of the top defenses, if not the number one defense in pro football. There's nothing else he could do. Crowley, he was a white dude. He was never going to I think that also played a factor with Christian McCaffrey. Good morning. Looking good, going into the break, seeing KP grow on the job. We're going to get to that. By the way, we will get to that. Now, I want to ask you this. Do you think the Eagles sent a message to A.J. Brown? Do you think they sent a message to A.J. Brown? Oh, one thing. I do want to follow it up by doing this. They took care of business. They put their foot, okay? They put their foot on their throat, and they did their job. Heading into the bye, you couldn't ask for anything better being 6-2. For as poorly as they played outside of the last 2 games, I think without a doubt, being 6-2, fantastic. Okay? Maybe unintentionally. Interesting. Okay? All right. I think AJ's going to look at it like this. He knows they can beat the Giants without him. He still thinks in his heart they can't win the Super Bowl without him. And I agree with him. But AJ's going to have a come to Jesus conversation about how he sees himself on this team moving forward. I mean, if you don't want to be here, dude, go demand a trade. And I'm not saying to you that the Eagles would accommodate him. But it gets to a point where enough is enough. Listen, guys. Well, here, let's ask that question. Guys, do you think you can win a Super Bowl without A.J. Brown? Do you? I don't. I do not. You're not winning a Super Bowl without him. You are not. Okay? Well, you've not gotten to one without him. I'll take care of the questions, kid. Like I said, they need AJ, but they don't need him. I think they do need him. Love AJ, best wide receiver in the league, period. Well, not right now, he's not. How many people believe that Devontae Smith is now wide receiver 1? You think he's wide receiver 1 now? Well, here, I don't. I do not. You're not under the impression you think A.J. Brown not being on this team, Devontae Smith is all of a sudden going to be a 1,500-yard guy. That's not happening. Remember your actions. You drafted a guy at number 11. Then the following year, you wanted an upgrade at the position on the other side. And you went and traded a first rounder for A.J. Brown and brought him in. Like in the history of the league, I've never seen a team draft a guy almost in the top 10 wide receiver and then the next year get another one. That's unprecedented. How in the world is that guy going to go for 1,500 yards in a passing offense that hangs out around 30th or 25th every year? How's that possible? Winning a Super Bowl, no AJ, it can happen. But we're not gods to say it can or not happen. Dude, it's called sports talk, Junior. Comes down to the quarterback. He's very talented, but stop. He's not a Chase or a Jefferson, Brown, or a Lamb. Correct. He's not any of those guys. Now, a passing volume quarterback could turn him into that. Like if he was with Patrick Mahomes, because that's what that offense does on a day-to-day basis and a week-to-week, game-to-game basis, he might be around 1,400. He could be. Seals bold prediction, Joe Brady will be a head coach of the Buffalo Bills and Sean Guy will be fired after this year. If they don't close the book with a Super Bowl win in Buffalo, yeah, I think that. Why would you continue to go with Sean McDermott? You're going nowhere with the guy. You're just going nowhere. Better than them all. Not right now, he's not. Patrick Mahomes drafted, you mean the Chiefs drafted Xavier Worthy in the first round, and Devontae Smith is way better than Worthy. I don't really think Worthy's all that hot. I think he's okay if you're comparing Devontae Smith to Xavier Worthy. Okay. I think Xavier Worthy's a good player. Do I think he's an exceptional talent? I don't. I think he's got exceptional speed. One of the worst coaches in crunch time. He's terrible. Let's see here. Seals, wide receiver 1. Smitty is great, but he's not a bona fide number 1. We can win a Super Bowl without AJ. We won a Super Bowl last year with the running game and defense. If we get more balance, we need AJ. You're going to need AJ. Yeah, I would agree with that. Patrick Mahomes and Devontae Smith, that'd be scary. Bone crusher. Hope all is well. Bench press king. Thank you, brother. We think Goddard has reached Ertz's level yet. Guy doesn't get a load of accolades nationally. That's because he can't stay healthy. Brandon, he is a fine football player. His issues have been availability. His issues have nothing to do with talent. He is a really good, he's a top 5 talent at that position. I think he's better than Hurts at one thing, that's yards after the catch. I think every time Zach Ertz caught a football, he was looking to go down. Hey, by the way, that kid in Green Bay, what's his name? Kraft? Who the fuck is that guy? Where did he come from? I don't remember him in college. Where did he play his college ball? Holy shit. I mean, Jordan Love was throwing like punts up for catches last night. Tucker Kraft, Senor, who is that guy? I mean, where did he come from? Holy shit. I mean, Jordan Love was throwing hand grenades up. This kid's coming down, twisting body. I mean, turning around, making plays. I mean, they were not impressive throws. Holy shit. He's a South Dakota State. That's even worse than North Dakota State. Get the hell out of here. Wow. South Dakota State. That guy is some ball player. I mean, wow. I mean, yeah, I did not know that. This is a great take. Seals, the story of the game was the O-line. We beat a bad Giants team, but a good Giants D-line. Yes. It looks like Toth at center is much better than a 75% Cam. Whew. Man, he was outstanding yesterday. By the way, he was getting up on the second level. He was pulling up outside. I don't know, man. If I'm the Philadelphia Eagles and Cam Jurgens is not ready to go, I don't know, man. I might keep that guy's ass in there. But here's the rule. If you pay him, you play him. So Jurgens is going to get his job back because the guy's making $20 million a year. He's going to get his gig back. Any chance we keep Dallas one more year, career year? No. Because, Leon, after you were just told to take a $5 million pay cut, why would I do that when I'm having a career year and a contract year? You think there's any coincidence to him leading the NFL in touchdown catches? And at the end of the year, he's a free agent? If he has 10 or more touchdown catches and 750 yards receiving, let's see where he is now. If he has those kind of numbers, he's going to be a coveted free agent. And I would not be shocked to see him in a place like Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes. So right now he's on pace for about 614 receiving yards and 64 catches with 15 touchdowns. That would lead the NFL. Why in the world? And the Eagles aren't going to pay him market money. They just told him to take a pay cut. Okay? Sills, remember you said they publicly shamed Goddard. They did. Made him take a fight. He was the only guy off the Super Bowl team that had to take a pay cut. GM didn't. Head coach didn't. Running back didn't. All the guys who signed other places didn't. Bond got a raise. Barkley got a raise. Cam got a raise. Goddard got a pay cut. What do you think? He was the only guy off the Super Bowl championship team a year ago that was requested to take a pay cut. How would you take that? How would you take it? Knowing full well you're looking for a 3-year contract. And this will probably be the last year where you're going to be able to benefit on getting big money. Why in the world would you do that? Why would I want to sign a 1-year deal when I could go in the free agent market and there's teams out there that need tight ends and viable tight ends? How about go and play in Los Angeles? Okay? Based off of what? 2 games? Let's hang in there. Sills, if Toth keeps playing like that, I'd strongly consider Cam at right guard over Steen. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think Cam Jurgens is playing good football this year. And I would keep Steen in over Cam. I don't think Cam's a better player than Steen right now. I think that guy is really injured, and I question his back right now. I mean, I would question his back. Eagles center Brett Toth went up against Dexter Lawrence, did not disappoint. He discussed the adjustments and what it looks like on the line. And he basically said, hey, listen, I had to do a couple things to be able to help me on playing against him. You know what he did? He outquicked him. So let me finish up that topic. Do I think the Eagles sent A.J. Brown a message? No. A.J. Brown's A.J. Brown. There's no message here. A.J. Brown's going to continue being A.J. Brown. I'm giving it another couple days before we start to see something else pop up. Okay? Let's see. Sales, KP has me eating crow this week. He had a good game plan and called his best game so far this year. He called his best game plan because they ran the ball 33 times. Is that what you're saying? Good run game could cover shitty play calling. That's Kellen Moore. Do you think he's doing a better job? Well, when you can run the ball. I thought the Minnesota game, was his better game, Kevin Patullo. I thought that was a lot of ad-libbing and playing that on Jalen Hurts. I thought Jalen Hurts was the catalyst and not the play calling. Kevin Patullo's not going to impress me. He's not. I know what I'm watching when I see it. Hey, bro, when you're running the football in the first play, so you're trying to tell me that was a great play call, that you're giving credit. Barkley hitting his head on the goalpost. You think that them running in that stretch play against the Giants' 27th ranked run defense, you think that was some epiphany play calling or some sort of magical play calling? That was like a super play call? Or was that common sense? For 27th against the run, let's run the ball. I mean, now that's a good take. For him, yes. Okay. It's going to tell us a lot about both teams. More so about the Packers than the Eagles. I would say that the Packer game is going to tell us that how about this? I think the Packer game is going to tell us if Minnesota and New York were real. Okay? Or if the problem still exists. I think more so Detroit. The following Sunday night game. Fact, Seals, I hate this narrative that KP stinks when we can't run the ball to save our lives. And KP is great now. I know it's stupid. It's a stupid fucking narrative. The New York Giants has changed your opinion on Kevin Patullo. You are high. How in the hell could you do that? It's such a stupid way to look at the game. 4 quarters of football, or even 8 quarters of football, has changed your narrative on Kevin Patullo? Good God. You're easily swayed on a... That's why, again, the NFL, you want to know why? Some takes... I mean, I want to see 3 games before I make a suggestion. Like the same thing with the Packers. The Packers are starting to look better. Jordan Love is the key to this. He still has a propensity to throw like grenades up. That kid Kraft was making plays out of his ass. They were back shoulder throws that were late. They weren't on time. I think getting that kid Watson back has been a beneficial thing to Jordan Love in that Packer passing game. Okay? Maybe it shows he's had, okay, I'll take that, Charles. I'll take that. Maybe he's starting to feel a little better. Week to week, sure. I'll go there. I will. Still, Jordan Love does Wentz things in every game. That's a great conversation right there. There's Carson Wentz like brain farts in the game. You're like, dude, Jalen doesn't have that shit. The one thing what hurts in his many things, but some of the things that hurts his game, he doesn't have like the sacks are the only thing that drives me crazy that he does poorly. Are those sacks. He takes a shitload of them. But if that is his only deficiency, not throwing picks, not putting the ball in harm's way, not turning the ball over, and he takes sacks, I'll eat the sacks. I don't like eating minus yardage, but he is protecting the football. Okay? He is. He's protecting the football. Myles Garrett is wasting away in Cleveland. I'll never say that about a football player ever. 5-game sack and they lose. Would you overpay to pull Myles Garrett away from Cleveland? AJ would need to be part of the trade to pay for Garrett. I'm not trading for Myles Garrett because Myles Garrett, listen, he's making $40 million. He's the best player in football. That is the best non-quarterback in pro football. There is nobody better than Myles Garrett. He's the best football player in the league. There's nobody better than him. I've said that and been consistent saying that for 2 years. He is the best football player in the league. And his career is not being, hey, Bob, he's the number 1 defense in pro football. There's nothing else he can do. And he did his job. And when he's standing there as a first ballot Hall of Famer, again, it's about ring, man. The Hall of Fame ring. He's a legendary player. If he doesn't have a Super Bowl ring, he values the Hall of Fame ring more. That should tell you in a nutshell. He values the Hall of Fame ring. Same way Joe Thomas did. I agree, Sills. If he wanted to win a chip, he wouldn't have re-signed with Cleveland. Correct. He would have forced his way out if he didn't want to stay there. No, he took the Hall of Fame ring over the championship, you mean. Playing in one place and going to the Hall of Fame. Hey, dude, he would have got $40 million anywhere. Like Miles, like what's his name? Like Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons didn't want to stay in Dallas. Myles Garrett wants to stay in Cleveland. He's chasing the Hall of Fame ring. He's not chasing the Super Bowl ring. Now, he wants to win. You saw his emotions on the sideline. He's a monster. I mean, right, you would need a Brinks truck to get him out of Cleveland. He took the Hall of Fame ring and all the money, okay? Congratulations. That's all he can control. Is putting a Hall of Fame career on tape and being rewarded for it. He's the highest paid non-quarterback in pro football. I'm not sure what else you want him to do. Could have had both those sales, gold jacket and championship. That's still to be determined yet in his career. You don't know if he goes somewhere later in his career and is an impact player like, say, a Von Miller, or he goes somewhere like a Khalil Mack, or he goes somewhere later in his career and ends up winning a championship. He's still got that on the backside there. Get this, though, dude. He's a Hall of Famer in Cleveland, and he's a Hall of Famer in Philly. Doesn't matter. Goddard knows this is his last year wearing the midnight green or the Kelly green. I agree. He's going to, if he continues to play the way he's playing, he's going to be one of the top free agents, and the Eagles aren't going to be in the room to have a conversation to sign him. He's going to command like $15, $16 million. Look at what the guy got in Arizona. The tight end in Arizona. Look what he just got. Goddard's going to get that kind of number. Okay? He's going to get that kind of number. He's going to make big money. Big money. Don't agree. Myles Garrett specifically said at the end of last season he wanted to play for the Eagles. Then why didn't he? Goddard been here for like a decade, it feels like. Yeah, because he backed up Zach Ertz for a bit. Yes. Anyone wouldn't take the money if your Garrett is lying to themselves. Of course, you're going to take the money. He's chasing a Hall of Fame ring, as most players are in the league. Listen, in a team sport, you can't control who wins the Super Bowl. Don't you get that? If you play in a team sport, you have no control of the Super Bowl. It's a collective group. You have no control of that. That's why most incentives in your contract have nothing to do with Super Bowls in it. That's why the salaries for the players are paid by the league. They're not in your contract. Pro Bowls, leading the league in rushing, leading the league in sacks. All those things are in your contracts. Okay? He's money hungry. I don't think there's anything wrong with being rewarded for your talents. That's why you pay top dollar to go see a movie with Tom Cruise in it versus Bob Cruise. Actors and actresses get paid for their talents. Why shouldn't an NFL guy get paid for his talents? It's absurd. What do you think this is, fucking high school? Yo, college try. You got to do it for the team. That's bullshit. Big Seals, the offense looked better without AJ. Just saying. Yeah, against the Giants. Against the Packers, let's see. If there's no AJ out there. Yeah, right. I never said anything was wrong with it, okay? But let's call a spade a spade. He chose money over winning. He could have been in Philly. No, he couldn't have. Who's to say that Cleveland would have traded him? Why would Cleveland trade the best player in the game to a team that finished 32nd in the NFL draft? What were you going to give me? High-end second-round picks for him? Why would Cleveland trade Myles Garrett to a team that was picking 32nd? Why would Cleveland do that? They're second-round picks. They're not first-round picks. I mean, the 33rd pick, I mean, Who's to tell? Cleveland would never have dealt with Philly. For what? Hey, here's 2 picks at 32. Great. I got 2 second rounders for him. Who in their right mind would think that? You trade with people like New Orleans or New England or teams that look like they're going to be, getting better. San Francisco would have been a pick because they had a bad season the year previous. But it's a good franchise. That would have been a place to go. Would have been San Francisco, not Philly. Thank you, Clyde. Appreciate it. If Howie was willing to overpay Micah, why wouldn't he overpay for a better player? Overpay? What do you mean overpay? What did you have to offer? Now, if you were going to give me A.J. Brown and a couple ones for Myles Garrett, dude, if you were going to give for Myles Garrett, you'd have to give 2 ones and A.J. Brown for him. Myles Garrett is 10 times the player A.J. Brown is. 2 picks and a 32. No, not buying it. 2 picks at 32? Thank you. You're going to have to give me A.J. and a 1 and a 3. You think A.J. Brown's in the conversation with Myles Garrett? Are you crazy? I mean, Myles Garrett's the best player in pro football. AJ's not. Hey, Sills, has anything like the NBA scandal ever happened in the NFL? And should prop betting be banned? Hey, back in the day, a guy by the name of Alex Karras and the running back from the Green Bay Packers, Paul Hornung, were suspended for gambling. This was in the 60s, like early 60s, when something like that popped up. Both those players had to take a year off. That was like the only big betting scandal I can remember in NFL history. But to that extent, no. Shill's day through to Dotson was very risky and required a Moss-type catch. Why did he throw that to Dotson, but doesn't throw those risky passes to AJ? I don't know. Listen, you're going to get away with Dotson and Devontae against the Giants and their practice squad corners. Those guys were activated off the practice squad. Do you understand they lost both corners in the game? Okay? And plus, I would say this, Mikey. A.J. Brown wins those jump ball opportunities. I think he's one of the best jump ball guys and end zone passers and across the middle. I think he's fabulous at jump passes and one-on-one against the corner. I think he's excellent at it. Which player had their legacy ruined by their team more? Myles Garrett or Burrow? There's no legacy ruined. Joe Burrow's going to the Hall of Fame. Myles Garrett's going to first ballot Hall of Famers. Those are first ballot Hall of Famers. Nobody's legacy's ruined. That's like saying Bill Belichick's legacy's ruined at North Carolina. Are you fucking drunk? Guy's got 8 rings. How's it ruined? Because he took a college job? That's like saying Michael Jordan's career is ruined because he went to the Wizards. Or Emmitt Smith's career is ruined because he went to the Cardinals. I mean, that's media bullshit. So in this era of football, the mobile quarterbacks everywhere, is Miles' numbers just as impressive as Reggie White? That's a great take. You're right. There were no mobile and movable quarterbacks back in the day. Chasing these guys down like Hurts today, you had Dan Marino. Now, Elway was mobile. But you're right. There were more guys that were 7-step dudes. You knew where they were in the pocket. That's a freaking great take. You got to chase these mobile guys down like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. That's right, except for Randall, Steve Young, There were a few John Elway could run. And hey, I agree with you down here. Shakir, Joe Burrow is the modern day Joe Namath. Always hurt. You know what? Now back that up. Do I think he's a Hall of Fame? He's a Hall of Fame talent. Do I think he gets there? I don't know. Okay, this is before my time. What's the deal with Chris Carter? Rod Woodson got in trouble having agents in college. Yeah, Chris went into the supplemental draft with me because of that. In 87. Me, him, and Brian Bosworth. I'll have to do some more due diligence. I love the flow of the game yesterday, especially coming off the Vikings game. I saw solutions to problems, AJ to the formula. I don't see any team beating us if Hurts keeps playing like this. I don't think you're better right now than Detroit. How about this? I'll take that back. Detroit, Green Bay, Philly, Tampa, Rams. I think you could put your hand in a hat, take out two, and those would be the NFC Championship teams. I think every one of those teams have flaws. Guys, I know you're all taken by the Giants game. I'm not. But I agree with Prince here. I like the flow of the game. Prince, this is kind of what I was talking about. The visual of it looked good. You know? There was a flow. Running of the football, decision-making. But I'm not that impressed with the Giant win. You took care of business. And what I'm more impressed with is with you as a group in what you did. By taking care of that team, unlike you did. You know what the Giant game 2 weeks ago shows me? You're capable of losing to anybody. At any time. If you have that big of a swing, you're capable of losing to anybody. And you're capable of winning a lot of games. Look, Green Bay, here, I'll give you this. Detroit, what do I think the issues are with Detroit? I think that damn coach drives those guys, and I think he drives those guys to injuries. The injury bug with that program, since he's been the head coach, I don't know. They work their asses off. Green Bay, still the quarterback. Sills, isn't Green Bay impressive? Yeah. Parsons has added a lot to the team. He has, by the way, I heard John talking about this again about Parsons. Parsons doesn't have to be the run defender in Green Bay. He had to be in Dallas. His flaws are still there in the run game, but they're not exposed because why? Green Bay's a better defense. There's better players on defense. He's the same football player that if you run at him, he sucks in the run game. There's no getting around that. He blows in the run game. When he doesn't have to be in the run game, he's exceptional. Okay? He's exceptional. Get this. You see this guy here? Well, then why were they at the bottom of the rankings every fucking year in run defense? He's got better players around him. Every year. They were down at the end when it came to run defense. No, he doesn't. Well, he sucked in Dallas against the run. I didn't watch Reggie before my time, so that was a genuine question. Curtis, Reggie White destroyed offensive linemen. I've never seen a guy pick up 350-pound guys and, throw them like 100-pound people. I saw him pick Chris Carter up once and throw him in off his feet and throw him into Warren Moon. I've never seen a football player on a field outside of Lawrence Taylor that I could make the conversation that he was. I mean, Myles Garrett is a great player. Is he Reggie or Lawrence? No way. No way. Exceptional, but not like those two. It's those two and the rest of the players that have ever played in the NFL. They're just different. Jerry Rice was different. Montana was just different. Brady's different. It's just like I told you, God put their hand on these players just a little longer. And they're just, it's, when you watch them on film, you're like, God forbid, I'll never be that good. Everyone was in normal slow speed. And when you're watching them on film, you're watching going, this is incredible. Just incredible. Everyone else was in a slower speed. And you're watching these guys, you're going, shit. I'll never, ever in my life be that exceptional. You marvel at it because you know the guys that have played in the game. And you know the guys that have like come before and since. And you're like, never seen anything like it. These guys were like secretariat. It's like once in a lifetime kind of football players. It's just exceptional. I mean, exceptional. Hey, Xander, I am going to send you Kurt Warner's cell phone. Not cell phone, his email. And we are going to get Kurt Warner on here in a couple seconds. And we are going to have Kurt Warner on here in a couple minutes here. So Kurt's going to join us. Xander's going to get the, by the way, Gary Cobb will join us at 4:30. Brian Baldinger will be with us tomorrow. Okay, that'll be at 3:30. So we are going to get Kurt Warner on. And Kurt made some comments about the Eagle offense. Okay, Brian Baldinger's tomorrow. Ray Didinger's on Thursday. Battle Royale Wednesday. We're pretty loaded, man. We got Howard Eskin also at 5:30 coming up. Sills, what do you think of? Yes, here. I want to make sure we get Kurt. He'll be popping up here any second. I think he played exceptional. I thought he was exceptional. Okay? He really did. I thought he handled Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence and Vita Vea are two of the best guys at that nose position. And when you have guys like that at your nose and you're putting a backup in, let me tell you the most important position as a defensive tackle and as a guy who played the nose position, one of the things that could alter a quarterback's play is if that center doesn't get that ball up, I don't care who the quarterback is. If that center doesn't have an ability to be able to get that ball up to the quarterback, that's why I was thinking, I was kind of shocked at the way they coached that game. That to me, I would have thought that they would have power rushed Brett Toth a little more in that game because there was no Juergens. So to me, I thought that was maybe a miscalculation by Dexter Lawrence. I thought he played exceptional. I thought he did. I thought he was really exceptional. As a matter of fact, I thought the whole interior line played some great football. I really did. I thought they played exceptional football in that offensive line. I thought they were getting up for the first time onto the second level. Hey, listen, when you get an offensive line that is mobile, one of the great things that there was a guy by the name of Alex Gibb. And Alex Gibb was the offensive line coach for the Denver Broncos. And back with the Denver Broncos, he ran zone blocks. I thought one thing yesterday that the Philadelphia Eagles did in the game is that they got up on the second level like they did a year ago, and they were able to get on and slip and scoop on being able to get on the linebackers. And I thought that they ran some really good stretch plays on being able to get outside to get Barkley free. Listen, the best friend that a quarterback can have is an exceptional run game. And the next guy we're going to get on, let me tell you what I was told by his offensive coordinator. His offensive coordinator told me, I go, man, Kurt was so good with you. And we've even had Vermeil on numerous times. He goes, that offense went through the running back, Marshall Faulk. He goes, that entire offense that the Rams ran, that greatest show on turf, that ran through that running back. It opened up everything for Kurt. I'll tell you, before I get Kurt on, I got to tell the story. Vermeil told me, he goes like this. Everybody in the room, what about that guy, Kurt Warner? Because you know there's something about him. Folks, here he is. Hall of Famer. Michael Irvin is watching right now, so he's sending love to my friend here. He is Kurt Warner, and he joins us now here on the show. Kurt, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Fantastic. So
good.
The big story in Philly. You know, we've heard you talk about the Eagle offense. We've heard you talk on set about Jalen Hurts. Tell me what you've seen so far in the first 8 games. Yesterday was a great game followed up by an exceptional game where he had a perfect game going there. You tell me what you've seen so far in the first 8 games.
Well, I mean, I think yesterday was the first time that we actually saw them kind of get back to their identity from the championship team they were a year ago. You know, the run first, finding ways to get big plays, getting Saquon in space. And, you know, the first part of this year, you know, we talked about it on game day morning yesterday on our show that I didn't really know what their identity was. You know, they throw a bunch one game and then they try to run a bunch of one game and nothing was necessarily great. And, you know, they weren't happy on any side of it in how they were playing offensively. And so I think, you know, the jury for me is still out on, okay, who are they going to be down the stretch? What are they going to hang their hat on? Throw for 301 game, you come back and run for almost 301. Like, I don't really know. And, you know, you also want to know, are they good enough to do one of those things and say, hey, when all else fails, we know that we can win doing this. That's what they did last year. Last year, they said we knew we could win running the football and playing defense. And we don't care who comes in. We don't care what they try to do to us. We know that we will win in these 2 phases every single week. I don't know if that's the same team that they have this year. And so that to me is what I've seen through the first 8 weeks. Obviously, yesterday was great and it gives you that glimmer of hope, like, oh, maybe they can get back to what they were a year ago. But this league is all about consistency, and it's all about showing us that if that's what you're going to be, show us you can do it every week. And that's what builds confidence in a locker room to say, hey, I know what we are, and I don't care who's coming in, and I don't care what you do. This is how we are going to beat you. You know, I heard you talking about the greatest show on turf. Like, we went into every game saying nobody's going to stop us. We are going to be able to throw the ball on anybody and everybody. And again, it doesn't mean you're going to. Like, we ran into that great Bucs defense, and you know, there were times that we struggled against them. But our mentality was, they can't stop us in this arena. We are going to go and play, and this is how we're going to win football games. And so, you know, we stepped onto every field believing that. And that's why I think we were such a good football team. And I think great football teams do the same. They step on the field going, hey, you know, give us your best shot. But we know this is where we're going to beat you. And, you know, there's going to be nothing you can do about it.
How about this, Kurt? I mean, you and I would get our trend books and our game plans on Wednesday. And we knew what teams were going to be. And like you just got through saying, so, you know, the people in Philadelphia right now, they're going like this, or like, oh my God, we're back. And I'm like, and everyone gets mad at me because I do this. I go, man, listen, 3 games are a trend. When you start to see teams start to show us what they're going to do and who they are, then you kind of get a sense. Then you go back with the situations where you familiarity when it comes to common opponents. You do all these things, and we look at things, and I look at them, and I'm with you. You know, when I look at that offense, last year they went, I'm running here. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm going to kick your ass here. This year, I don't think they have that same mentality because I don't know if they have the same approach. So I'll ask you this.
Yeah.
How much do you think this changing of constant coordinators for Jalen Hurts matters when it comes to the inconsistency that we see year in and year out with the quarterback's play?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it affects a quarterback, you know, just how you see the game, how you connect with a guy, your understanding of, you know, what that guy's thinking in different situations. You know, it's not always as simple as, you know, if they could call the exact same play, but two coordinators could be calling it for different reasons. And so just understanding and getting into the mind of your coordinator. You know, the other thing is, you know, building an offense and building a system that fits. You know, I tweeted about this last week, is that all of us quarterbacks see the game differently. And so you could give three really good quarterbacks the same play, and one quarterback will love it. One quarterback will hate it. You know, one might just say, oh, you know, that's fine. I can run that and be good, you know, because it's the mentality of how things are built and how you see the game and how you process information. And so, you know, anytime there changes and a new guy comes in and goes, oh, you know, this is a really good play. I've run it and had success with it before. And the quarterback goes, not really feeling it. You know, so I think that's all part of it. You know, what I would say, though, is that I feel like Philly's pass offense has been pretty, I'll just say simple. Like it's base concepts. They like to stay, you know, in certain formations. They like to run the same concepts or
It's
routes.
simple.
By guys, yeah. And they've been doing that for years. So even through the coordinators, the offense has stayed very similar in that regard. And so, you know, because of that, I think, you know, that can lend itself to Jalen, who obviously has had success with all these guys, can lend itself to having success because they stay with the same basic concepts for the most part. I'm sure each bring in their little flair to it or some change-ups also. But you know, but I think that's, you know, that's been a benefit as well, is that, you know, even the coordinators have changed. Even though the coordinators have changed, they've had a lot of pieces that have stayed in place. So we can still try to do, you know, primarily the same sort of things.
You know what, though? I mean, I think he's an elite athlete. I don't think he's elite from the pocket. I just, by some of the things that you said, I mean, those John Gruden complex offenses. Now that may be an extreme because of what John runs in his route concepts and everything, and how long the plays are to have to digest for a quarterback. And I'm not saying all of that is good too, but I mean, it's so simple. It's go routes, Kurt. I mean, it's nothing exceptional. Yeah. Is that a reflection of the quarterback skill set, being able to see the game? Yeah. Or is that how they want to approach the game? I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't think I know the answer to that, you know, but I would say that if you're able to run the football, you know, like if you're able to dictate to a defense how you're going to play, meaning we are going to run the football until you bring extra, like you're not going to stop us with the same number of guys. So if you're going to stop us, you're going to have to bring extra guys to the party. You do that, we've got AJ and Devontae and these guys on the outside that will have to be left in one-on-one situations. And so if you take that approach, and you're able to be successful with it, why do we need complication on the outside? Like, why do we need to do a whole bunch of stuff on the outside? All I need to have is, you know, my four complementary routes. We're going to run a short route. We're going to run a deeper route. We're going to run a go route. We're going to run a double move. Doesn't really matter. I got one-on-one with A.J. Brown. You don't know what he's going to do of those four routes. Yeah, we could just call him over and over again, and you're one-on-one, and you're at the mercy of one of the best receivers in the National Football League. And so, you know, in essence, I don't have a problem with that. You know, I think, you know, as a quarterback and that played with the greatest show on turf that would go into games with 220 pass plays, you know, sometimes I get bored with it. You know, sometimes I'm like, man, change it up. You come up with something different, you know, do something. You know, and I think, and again, I'm just speculating here. I don't want to put words in AJ's mouth, but I sometimes feel like that's what AJ is saying, is like, this is all I get to do is those four routes. Like, yeah, I might be really good at those four routes, but man, move me around, put me in some other plays, you know, make me the focal point, give me 23 targets like Jamar Chase gets, because he goes like, And so, I wonder if that's part of it because, yeah, I think we do watch it, especially as analysts, and go, it's kind of boring. But again, like, it doesn't have to be complicated. I've tweeted over the last 3 or 4 weeks, like, I love the curl flat combination. Like, if every offense I've been in, it's like, we can't throw that enough. Like, give it to me 7, 8 times in a game because I just love the concept. And it's football 101. It's like the first concept I put in high school when I became a quarterback. So the game doesn't have to be complicated is what I'm trying to say. So if you can be successful with it being simple, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that part of it. I just think in this day and age when we're seeing a lot of stuff, we get bored. And so I think that's the first part of it. And the second part to your question that I can't answer, but, is where is Jalen Hurts? Like, I think Jalen is a tremendous thrower when he knows where he wants to go with the football. So when his first read is open, there's not a throw that he can't make, down the field. Like, he throws the ball really, really well. The things that I wonder sometimes is how good is he at when the first one's not there, at truly seeing the big picture and working, to those other things. And again, it's sometimes really hard to know that because they're playing simple football. So again, it's like when they throw, it's one-on-one with A.J. Brown. He drops back and throws it to A.J. Brown. And so, does that mean, that he can't do the other stuff? No. But that's the question that I have, just because of A, how they play nature-wise, and then B, when I watch them play, there are a number of times that I think, man, just work to number 2, and he's right there in your progression based on how I see the game. And he doesn't always get there, and he wants to go out and create and do some other things. So that lends me to wonder, how good he is. I haven't ever sat in a room with him and talked through film and asked him what he saw. I haven't done that. But at least, it lends me to at least have that question on, okay, if they can't run it and if they have to develop a more complex passing game, where is he at this stage in his career in terms of doing all that and processing that information? And again, I think it's always, it's unfair to just kind of throw one guy out there. Like, we're talking about, Josh Allen, and we're talking about, Drake May and how great, those guys are playing, MVP and that stuff. Those guys are struggling with that. Like, I'm going back watching a lot of film going, Josh, your first read's here. Why are you moving? Why are you taking off? And Drake, the same thing, like your first reads. And so, like, it's all over the league with these athletic type quarterbacks that I feel are more comfortable moving. They're more comfortable with their feet moving because they're used to being athletic. And so they have more trouble getting back and being patient in the pocket, which, by contrast, I was non-athletic. And so, my fault would be I'm going to stand in the pocket and I'm going to stay there and I'm going to trust that something's going to come open and I'm going to be able to get there before the pass rush gets there. And so, it's all over the league with these guys, I think, trying to balance, playing conventional quarterback in the pocket and the patience that takes with the athleticism that they have and their ability to create and how many times they've had success creating, to go, okay, where's that fine balance to be the best version of myself for my team?
How about this, Kurt? I've talked to, I've played against Bill Walsh's teams, and I've talked to Belichick with Jimmy Johnson, my former coach professionally and collegiately. And some of these guys, it's about processing, they say. These mobile guys, it seems, because they're moving around so much. Kurt, you would get to a spot in the pocket, right? You would get to a spot in the pocket. And to me, Bill Walsh told me, a quarterback, it's not really about his arm. It's more about his legs and getting back when he gets back into a spot so that he can process. I've said this, and you tell me if you think I'm wrong on Jalen. I think he struggles at reading defenses and struggling at finding his landmarks. And I think that's the problem when it comes to the second read. No, is that, again, if he knows where he's going with the ball, and that's why the go route seems to be a big route for them, and this is why they keep it simple. And, to me, I think that's what he struggles at, and that's why he takes a ton of sacks. Am I wrong when I say that?
Well, again, I don't know the answer to that. I would have to sit down and talk to him and see where he's at and why he's doing what he's doing. You know, I'll say another thing. You know, I'm not a big proponent of the pure progression type passing game, which is really taking over the National Football League. And in the pure progression type system, it's less based on reading defenses and reading defenders, and it's more based on seeing if your guy is open. And so I think that's another thing that I see when I break down tape is my mind always goes to what defender should he be reading? And when I do that, it's like, oh, he should be reading this guy, so he should be throwing it there, and he should be able to see and process between those two receivers which one he's going to throw it to. A lot of these guys now and these offenses are built where it's not read the defender. It's come back and see if your guy is open. Huh. And so while they're looking to see if their guy's open, they're not really seeing the defender, that the defender's squeezing it so the one over the top is open. They have to see if that guy's open, and then if they decide he's not, then they have to find their next receiver and go, okay, is that guy open? So that's another part of, to me, it slows down the processing. If I can just say, let me look at the corner, and if he squeezes the underneath, I'm throwing it over the top, or vice versa, I'm reading two guys at once and I'm playing faster, and it's easier for me to get to my, again, I'll say second read, but it really becomes my first read, because that defender is telling me, who am I throwing to first? Where am I going with the ball? And so it's another distinction that you see in this NFL that's different than my NFL and the way that I played. And it frustrates me because I do think it slows a quarterback down. I do think it causes them to not see the big picture because they're just so finitely focused on, I need to see this receiver first. Is he open? Can I fit it to him? And then if the answer is no, they don't really know what else is going on. And again, my opinion, they don't really know what else is going on because they haven't looked at the entire picture and they haven't seen defenders, and they're not making those decisions based on the defenders that they're reading. So it's like, throwing blind, and then now it's, okay, now I'm going to throw blind again because I'm just turning my head to the next guy to see, is there space? Are there people in the way? And for me, I never played that way. To me, it was always find the defender. The defender will always tell you. And the next piece of it, you have to have good quality concepts that put a defender in conflict. If you've got 5 different guys going to 5 different zones, there may not be somebody in conflict. So now it does become, well, can you beat that defender with the throw, as opposed to, will this concept beat that defender? Because we got a high and a low, we got an in and an out. He can only cover one of them. And so those are all the elements that, have been introduced into the NFL now, that, add a lot more complexity to understanding what these guys are being taught, what they're seeing. Are they even being taught to read coverages, where I go back and go, he's not very good at reading coverages because this tells him he should be going there. But if they're not taught that, then it's a disservice to say that to them, even though, in my mind, it's like, well, teach him that, because if you teach him that, the game becomes easier and it speeds up and it's faster. And so with all these great athletes that we have in the NFL, reading 2 guys at once as opposed to reading 2 guys at different times, I'm going to always be faster than you are at getting the ball out and getting it to the right guy. So I just think there's so many elements that it's hard to definitively say this or that about a particular guy. But it's part of what definitely frustrates me as an analyst, because I think the game, I think the game could be easier. Now, having to see all that and process it is not probably easier than just going, hey, look at this guy and see if he's open, then look at this guy. But if you're able to do that, I think it makes the game easier and faster, so you don't have to rely so much on the athletic part of it and taking off and running and creating in space, because boom, boom, I've got my reads right here. The defender tells me, boom, ball's out of my hands. And I can play a little bit faster from that perspective.
2 last questions here for you, Kurt. I know you got to run here. Let me throw this at you here with this question. If you had a wide receiver like A.J. Brown, and you got to remember, and I tried telling people this, why these wide receivers today are more chatty is because defenseless wide receivers, back in the day, you didn't hear people chirping back there because you got knocked out coming across the middle of the field. And now we've created this guy who is pretty much on every single football team. How would you handle AJ if you're a quarterback and he was on your team and in your huddle? Guy chirping, I want to be more involved. See, I think quarterbacks see the game the way the game is coming to them and how they see the game to win. I think wide receivers want the game to go through them and they want to win through their eyes. You see it through a team concept and a huddle concept. How would you handle AJ?
Well, let's have a little fun with this because a couple years ago when AJ made headlines for reading Inner Excellence on the sideline. Recently my son picked up the book and sent it to me and said, "Hey, Dad, will you read this with me?" And so we just kind of getting into it. But even before I picked it up, I actually tweeted something earlier in the year, and it was around AJ Brown because everybody out there takes this approach that winning is everything. And what I don't think people understand is that great competitors, that's not true. Now, the bottom line is we believe the byproduct of what we do to be great will be winning, but it's not about the winning. It's about the competing. It's about the process. It's about being involved in the process of winning or competing. And so that to me is what AJ keeps saying is that, we've got this big picture that it should all be about winning. So AJ, hey, we know you're great, but you should just be happy, having a participation trophy. And what great players say is, I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with the participation trophy. What I love and what makes me great is competing and having an impact in that game, right? Like, I want the ball in my hands when the game is on the line. I want opportunities. We talked to Patrick Surtain a week ago for our broadcast, and I said, what's the most frustrating thing for a DB? And he said, when I get no targets. Like, I don't want to just run around. I don't want to just do conditioning. I'm here to be great, and the only way I can be great is when the ball is thrown at me. And AJ's saying the same thing. The only way I can be great is when I'm involved in the process. And so to me, it has nothing to do with being selfish and saying, I want the ball more. That's not what he's saying. What he's saying is, I'm great. And to be great, I need to be involved in the process. Otherwise, I don't really care. I've heard great play. Tom Brady, greatest that we've ever seen, has won a lot of championships. I've heard Tom numerous times, say when he won his first championship, it was kind of like, this is it? Like, this is all? Like what I love is I love the competing. I love the process. I love working to get great and the challenge of every week having to be involved in that process is what it's all about. That's what makes great players great. Not just, hey, I want to win every time out. That to me has gotten so skewed that to me, I want to compete. I want to compete. And so like when I was on the bench, it was the worst thing in the world for me. And it wasn't because, other guys, it wasn't because of anything other than I am here for one reason, and I'm here to compete, and I want to be great, and I think I can be great. And the beautiful thing about the quarterback is in most situations, you get the ball in your hands every game to have an impact on the game. Receivers don't get that. And so that whole thing with AJ, to me, everybody has skewed it the wrong way and made it about being something selfish when it's not. Like, AJ, does he want to win? Did he appreciate winning a championship and being a part of this team? No question. But do I think AJ would get just as excited if he lined up for an 0-15 team, if he got a chance to compete every Sunday against the best in the world and show people his process, his work, his greatness was on display every single time? Yes. And it doesn't mean he doesn't want to win. It doesn't mean he'd rather be on a bad football team. I think we just have to understand the mind of excellence. The mind of greatness is about, I need to be involved. Like, I am not here to be on the sidelines. And so going into a game and just running routes for conditioning is like being on the sidelines. I'm not involved. And so you got a receiver reading on the sideline. And, because it's like, it's disinteresting for a great player to not be involved in the process. Like, again, I don't know if I'm stating it the right way, and I don't know if it's making sense
I think
to
this is
people
dead
that
on.
haven't been there, but that's what they need to understand. Right. And you know, call me selfish all you want. To me, it's not about being selfish. It's about, this is what's made me great. And it's been the process from all the stuff you don't see. But that process, what makes that process beautiful is it playing out on a Sunday afternoon, it playing out on the biggest stage. And we believe that process will lead to the winning, but the ultimate goal isn't the winning. That's what people miss and get misconstrued. And that's, to me, what's wrong with our society, is that we think that's the only thing that matters. And for us, it's not.
But for you, Kurt, being the quarterback, are you cognizant of that and all of that, that's what that guy's feeling? And yet, because we had Keith Byers on, and Keith said this, he goes, hey, listen, sometimes the quarterback has got to be the biggest a-hole in the building, because he's got to look at the way the approach and how you win a game. Kurt, for you, you could throw for 357 yards in a game. Maybe the next game against the Bucs, you go 150, but it's efficient football and you're running the ball with Marshall Faulk. Whatever the feel is, how much is that on you to know that that's what that guy's feeling out there? Because they're not winning a Super Bowl unless he's involved in this offense.
Yeah, and the thing is like, you know, again, we can use AJ or me or anybody. Like, I was never mad when we, you know, ran the ball for 250 yards and won. But, you know, it would have been, you know, it wouldn't have been as sweet, I guess I would say, if we had a whole season where all we did was run the ball for 250 yards and all I did was hand the football off like anybody else could have handed the football off, and we won a championship. Like, again, not that I wouldn't have appreciated it, not that I wouldn't have been happy to be on a team that won a championship. It just, I would have probably left, you know, a little bit more empty. Like, I didn't really have anything to do with it.
So you wouldn't have liked last year, right, Kurt? You wouldn't have liked last
year. Again, I you know, I'm built differently, and the teams I'm on, you know, I like to throw it. And so again, I don't want to pretend like, oh, I'm so selfish, I wouldn't have liked last year. It would have been great. It's just, again, I want people to understand what fills somebody, you know, what somebody's purpose is, what makes you alive as a competitor is being involved in the process and being right in the middle of it, so you can have a direct impact on every game or on a season. And that's what feeds competitors more than winning. That's what feeds competitors. And so that's what they want, you know, to be involved in. It's why they do what they do. And again, we've gotten misconstrued that it's about winning. They play to win. They play to win. No, they don't. They play to be great. They play to enjoy the process. They play to be excellent and to be in the heart of that competition every single time. And so again, you know, I don't know how well I'm explaining it. It's just, I think I fully understand where AJ's coming from, and I fully don't believe it's a selfish, I just need the ball more. Like, you're not throwing it to me. Like, I'm not happy with, you know, it's not that. It's just, it's how he's wired. It's how he's built. It's what makes him great. And I have absolutely no problem with it.
I got a final question for you, though.
Okay. I just got a couple minutes here. I got to jump on.
Last one here for you then.
Okay.
When you look at your rings, your Hall of Fame ring, and you look at your Super Bowl ring, what means more to you?
I mean, it's always going to be the Super Bowl ring, just because it's a team sport. And the beautiful part about this game is that it takes everybody to win a championship. And so that, to me, is the beautiful part of it. But again, like, for me, they all represent competing at the highest level and having the opportunity to participate in great moments, and, you know, and prove, you know, all that process that I talked about and all that work that went into it, you know, that you were able to, you know, bring that out and you know, play at an excellent level, you know, time and time again. And so they both have special meaning to me. But, you know, I think in the ultimate team sport, you know, if it was an individual sport like, you know, like tennis, it would probably be more, okay, Hall of Fame than winning, you know, winning tournaments. But because it's a team sport and that's what it's all about, and you know, the uniqueness of that part of it, you know, there's no question that that is going to be a Super Bowl ring.
Kurt, thank you so much, man. We had a master class there. I really appreciate it. I'll tell Michael Irvin he's watching. He said, hey, hi. Thank you, my friend.
I love that dude. All right. Good talking to you, buddy.
You got it. That is Kurt Warner. Appreciate him doing that. By the way, he just explained about competing and how he wanted to compete. I don't know, man. I don't know. Then he turns around and he goes, the Super Bowl ring. All right. I think that was a great explanation on A.J. Brown. Maybe A.J.'s tweeting because the organization isn't listening to him. Also, masterclass from Kurt. By the way, Big Z, you want to jump aboard now instead of waiting till 5? We could do it now because we'll have Gary Cobb at the bottom here. We could kind of float him over a little bit longer. You can wait until 5 if you want to go down that route. We could do it then. Bring him back. You know what's funny? Xander goes like this. He's like, hey, did you see Kurt Warner the other day? And I went like this. Hang on for a minute. Well, we've had him on. He goes, no, you didn't. And I go, yeah, we did. He goes, oh, my God. Yes, you did. And so Xander keeps reminding me. So he goes, dude, what about Baldy? I go, okay, Baldy's on tomorrow at 3:30. So, I mean, you got to keep reminding. Hey, he reminds me every day for the pregame show on Sundays, just so for me to make it. All right, without further ado, let's get our guy on here now. Don't forget, Gary Cobb will join us at the bottom. We will have Howard Eskin at 5:30 as well. Without further ado, my guy, Big Z, Xander Krause joins us. How about that, folks? We go from Kurt Warner to Xander Krause.
Yeah, I'm no Kurt Warner. I'll tell you that much. I'm no Kurt Warner, but I appreciate you having me on, Sills. That was an excellent freaking interview. For those who don't know, this is how far this show has come. I don't forget many guests, and I was upset at myself for forgetting Kurt. So me and Sills went back and looked at the archives.
Oh my God!
In the first month of the National Football Show, which was May of 2021, the end of April at the draft is when we launched this show in 2021. In the very first month that Big Sills was on this channel, he brought on Kurt Warner. Does anybody want to take a stab at how many views the show had?
I'll give you a hint. It's horrible.
Total. How many views the show had? I'm not talking about live stream. I'm talking about the total views of the show for Kurt Warner on JAKIB Sports was 115 views. 115 views. And here you are, Sills, pulling in thousands per day now on the National Football Show. Great interview, my friend.
Look who we got tomorrow. Top one. Brian Baldinger's on tomorrow.
Beautiful. Yeah,
so
Baldy's been doing a great job.
Baldy will break it down. Baldy will break it down at 3:30 tomorrow here. So, all right, Xander, what'd you make of his takeaway on A.J. Brown?
I thought it was perfectly stated by a true competitor that's competed at the highest level. You know what I mean? I really did. I understand that. I've always at least tried to understand that part of it because I think everybody in their own life that's a competitor, whether it's sports or business or whatever, or in your case, sports talk, whatever the case may be, I think everybody has just a natural desire to succeed or to reach success or to be great. At least certainly I feel that way. The problem that I have, which Kurt never addressed, which is fine because he's not as in the mix, is I don't think AJ's doing it the right way in terms of using the social media. That to me is the petty, childish nature of it. That Kurt never really addressed that. He more spoke on the mindset of a player like that, which makes complete sense to me.
Fair.
My problem with AJ has never been about him wanting to get the offense better or be a bigger part of it or any of those things. In fact, I think I've been pretty team AJ in that regard about that. Where I have a problem is that I think AJ's is doing things that, in my opinion, take away from everybody. There's a way for you to want to compete, like Kurt explained, without having to be a petty child on social media. Like, so, I mean, the deleting of the 8 jail and stuff, that is the pettiest bullshit I have ever heard in my life.
We found this out yesterday. He went back and was deleting.
So what happened was, for those who don't know, and I know people are out there, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm like, bro, clearly it matters because AJ went and deleted them. So AJ had old tweets from like 2020, 21, 22 of him like giving Jalen Hurts credit. You know, oh, great job by Jalen, great discipline, great leader, all these different things about Jalen. And I guess Eagle fans went back and found him. You know how you can search someone's Twitter and see what they've talked about in the past. And, they started quote tweeting them and retweeting them and all these different things. And AJ goes in and deletes them so they don't appear anymore. And it's just like, all right, dude, what are you doing here? Like, really? What the fuck are you doing? But that's my problem with the AJ stuff right now. But I thought Kurt was amazing on it, dude. I really did. I thought Kurt was amazing on it. I think that's such a good perspective from somebody that not only won the team part of the game, but won the individual part of the game.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what Kurt has done, obviously. His answer about the Hall of Fame, I think, is a quarterback's answer.
It is.
Yeah.
That's a great take by you.
Yeah, it's quarterback's
because he
answer.
Explained on competing and then turned around and went,
Yeah, but who's always in football? It's a team game, but who's always been, no matter what team you're on, who's always been the most important part of any football team? It's the quarterback. And so that's a more quarterback answer. Like if you ask the same answer to Jerry Rice, I have a feeling he would say Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know? So, but I get it. I think his answer was great and well explained. He's a great speaker, man. He really is a good. You know what he
said to me? He goes like this. I go, how about Thursday or Friday? And he goes like this. How about Monday? And I
Monday.
Went, sure. Okay.
Monday's better. Monday, man, best day of the week.
He goes, I'll tell you what, I could probably come on a couple times a month if you want. Just give me a heads up and I'll let you know where we are here.
You know what I have to do, Sills? I've now done this. I will have to go back and look at all of the old national football shows and pull all the names that Big Sills has had on and remind you, hey, let's get this guy.
You told me Herm Edwards too. You go, let's get Herm on.
I love Herm. I love when you get all those guys on. Well, I always say to these people, they might chirp at you. They might hate that you're mean to Jalen Hurts. Whatever the case may be. What they can't say is that you are not one of the most connected people in this business and well-liked by these people because full disclosure, I have never paid a single guest to come on the National Football Show. All the names I've never been asked. I've never paid a single guest to come on here. People don't do that for free. All right. I mean, I asked Ross Tucker for 10 minutes on Birds 365. He's like, oh, I need money. I'm like, I'm not giving you money, Ross. Either come on or don't, So it's impressive.
I'm working on Saban, by the way, for you because I know that would mean a lot to you.
Oh, that would be so sick, dude.
Okay,
that would be so sick.
I got his number from Pat McAfee the other day.
Well, I know you. I know you'll be able to get to him. That's not I never doubt that.
No, I think I you know what? He's open to it because he loves Jimmy. Anyway, all right. 24 hours after what you saw yesterday, anything changed with your opinion over the Eagles going into the bye? I mean, first give me your takeaway on the game, and then give me your takeaway 6-2 going into the bye.
I mean, my takeaway on the game is that you did what you were supposed to do in terms of beating up on that team. I think that's what we expected when we played the New York Giants this year. I mean, we all made predictions on the schedule at the beginning of the year. We all expected to beat the shit out of the New York Giants twice. They beat the shit out of us. Right. They beat the crap out of us the first time. We kind of returned the favor, belt to ass, and that's what we should have done. I'm very intrigued and optimistic by the response of Jalen Hurts after the two poor games that he played earlier with the two losses. I think what his response is one of the things I love most about Jalen when the pressure seems to fill up in the pipe the most and reach its highest points. The guy delivers. And that to me is an intangible trait that you can't teach. And Jalen has that. And I think that's a great positive. And I mean, I think to be honest with you, the running game is the big thing there. I mean, and I don't know that we're going to be able to run week in and week out because that's a shoddy run defense and a shoddy team. But it's good to get it going, man. 270, I will say this: the team still is a little boomer bust in some regards.
Yeah, right. Very true.
Like the running game, it's either
Kurt kind of said that.
It's either 60 yards in the game or it's 280.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, it's either a perfect passer rating and 4 touchdowns or it's 0 completions in the second half. You know what I mean? So that part of it, I think they still want to be a little bit more consistent. But overall, man, I think this team is in a really good place. I think they're a really good team. And I heard something today I saw something on social media today from Ike Reese. He's one of the few that I actually really do like that's over on the radio station. And he said, sometimes your biggest competitor isn't who's lining up on the other side. Sometimes your biggest competitor is yourself. And I thought they beat that competitor this week. And I thought that was an excellent take by Ike Reese. And I think I agree with that, man. I agree with that. I think they got that hypothetical, bag of bricks off their back in a way yesterday. I hope they can play free and build on that now.
See, that to me, I hadn't heard that. I didn't really take anything away from the Giant game. I took away the optics of what they did in the Giant game and how they approached the Giant game, how they spread it around, how there was more balance, how there was more of an ebb and flow in the game, how you saw some people on defense showing up and this and that. I mean, it just looked to me that the game came to them a lot easier. And now look, it's the Giants. So again, I don't know what I'm looking at a little bit. I took more actually away from the Minnesota game and how they played offensively. I mean, look, let's be candid. There were 2 practice squad guys playing corner.
Yeah, I mean, come on, we got to play. And by the way, you ran for 280. Your quarterback's going to have an easier day through there. I'm not taking anything away from him.
No,
he had a great
nothing. Because they took care of business.
That's not easy to do, but yeah,
that's right.
100%. You got to add the context. We got some bigger tests coming up. You don't win Super Bowls in October versus the Giants, but it was a good building block piece for the team. There's no doubt about that.
How do you think Barkley looked in the ball game? Do you think this is the beginning of Barkley getting back on track again?
I think it should be. I mean, I think the team has to make it a priority. I mean, we talked a little bit ago about maybe the team becoming a passing game, and I'm still receptive and open to that idea. But I think that was always a short-term fix for the offense. I don't think you go into playoff games, at the link, wherever you play, and you play in January, and you can win games without a run game. I just don't think like that. I think you need to have a run game in the NFL, and so I'm optimistic because of that. Like if they can run the ball. And by the way, I think Tank Bigsby looks good as a running back too. I know it's a small sample size. I understand 10 carries on the year so far, but. Dude,
he took advantage of his opportunity in the Minnesota game as well.
Yeah,
I thought
and I think he looks like the right change of pace to kind of have with Saquon Barkley. So I think the team's in a good spot with the running game. I'm proud of Jalen for the way he's responded to a lot of the criticism that he received, and I think that's a good thing for this team. But running game getting going is the biggest advantage from yesterday. Now. That's one where you look at the other side and you're like, okay, well, I got to see that versus a better defense,
Brett Toth, man. Bro, I you know what? I went back and watched a little more of it. Getting out in the perimeter, getting up on next levels. Do you think, hey, even if Cam's ready to go, do you keep him in there?
This is where it bothers me when people will criticize Stoutland. Because they'll see couple bad games of O-line or not a perfect dominant O-line, and everybody says, what happened to Jeff Stoutland? Jeff Stoutland is not a magician, all right? Now, I'll tell you the one difference between this week and last week for Brett Toth. Brett Toth came into the game last week. He did not prepare to be the starter all week. This week, Cam Jurgens was out from the game. They basically knew he didn't practice once this week, which means Jeff Stoutland had a week to prep Brett Toth to be the starting center of the football team. And how did he look? That's what Jeff Stoutland does. Jeff Stoutland doesn't turn water to wine, folks.
No.
That's not what he can do.
No.
But when you give him a week to prepare, he will get the most out of a player. And you could see him do that this week with Brett Toth. But you're right. I mean, Toth deserves a lot of credit, man. He got a lot of shit, rightfully so, and now he's getting a lot of credit, rightfully so. So well done by Brett. I hope he can keep it up. And yes, I am with you. If Cam is not healthy, sit your ass down, dude, because you weren't as good as Toth was yesterday. And I know you played the Giants, but
that's an elite guy he was playing against.
Dexter Lawrence is no small task.
No way.
Right? So I'm with you on that.
So let me go isolated here with Hurts. What was the most impressive thing Hurts did yesterday to you, and how he approached in this game, and how he saw the game, and how he played in the game? What was the most impressive thing to you with him?
He lets the game come to him right now. He doesn't force things. He lets the game come to him. And you know what else I liked is it's clear that the narrative about him being under center, while he might not have grown up doing it, which no college quarterback does, the narrative that he can't do it is stupid and foolish. All right. The amount of play action passes yesterday, even the ones over the middle. I mean, we had multiple passes yesterday to Devontae Smith over the middle of the field. They all came out of under center. I mean, this isn't rocket science. Sometimes I think we turn football into rocket science. It's not. It's just football. Put them under center, put the defense on their toes, and you're going to be able to complete more passes. That's what they're able to do. So I think Jalen's showing a lot of good things right now, dude. He's letting the game come to him, and I think that's a beautiful thing. The other thing I'll say about Jalen is, you hear Jalen, the MVP conversation is now creeping in right on Jalen because you see the numbers. The numbers are impressive, 15 touchdowns, 1 pick. And I think one of the reasons that Jalen is able to be in that conversation despite having poor performances, poor halves of football where you don't complete a pass. I mean, that's basically unheard of for a quarterback in today's day and age. But here he is a couple weeks later, and he's in that conversation. And I think that's because Jalen has mitigated the lows so much. They might look ugly passing, but he doesn't throw 3 picks.
And they win.
And they win the game. So when you don't throw the picks, you might have an ugly passing performance, but you have 350 the following week, 3 tutties, and you still have no picks. All of a sudden, your stats look great. I think it's a good thing for him, but I think the way he plays and where he protects the ball puts him in all those conversations because he doesn't necessarily show up. Remember, it is a stat league, dude. Like, I know stats don't tell the full story, but how much football talk is consumed by stats?
Completely,
the
entire game.
Even guys who shouldn't be focused on stats are. There's Hall of Fame voters who go off stats. That's kind of the name of the game. And when you look at Jalen's stats, he doesn't make bad throws. He doesn't turn the football over. So he grades out highly because he doesn't take a lot. He doesn't put the ball in harm's way, and then when he does have his big games, which inevitably come, the stats look really good. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for that.
He's just not a high volume passer though, dude. I mean, he'll never
I think
be.
You're right about that. I'm okay with that though, dude. I've moved on from that conversation. I know he's not. Well, we need a great running game. We need to help him out with a good defense, as most quarterbacks need. Put the things around him, and when Jalen needs to make the plays to win the ball games, put the ball in his hands. He's proven to me he can do it. And until he proves to me that he can't do it in a big moment where the playoffs come and he's got to throw us to a win and he can't do it, I think we got to take the good with the bad with the player. I mean, seriously, I think, and I'm guilty of this. I admit it, everybody. I'm guilty of this. Sometimes I think we just expect too much greatness all the time from Jalen. Like, dude, not every player is going to be great all the time, every play, week in and week out. Hey, look at Josh Allen a couple weeks ago.
It's like your Dak conversation. Dak's played great for 7 weeks. And one bad game. Dogs, Andrew,
maybe that's a better point though, because everybody's graded that way. Look at that. Everybody says Dak sucks. Dak was one of the best QBs in football.
Baker Mayfield stunk yesterday against the Saints. He's still in the MVP conversation. You're right. It's a week-to-week league.
I think some of that comes on Jalen though, with how good the roster is perceived to be. You know what I mean? Like, you have great receivers and a running game and the O-line. And even if it's not all true all the time,
it's jealousy.
That's the perception, is that Jalen has the best offense around him in football. So when he doesn't live up to it or he doesn't have the great game, I think people immediately go to, you got to be better, which I think is, I mean, in some regards, it's just human nature. But, I will say I was probably a little too hard.
If Josh Allen was 0 for 10 or 0 for 8, the Bills are getting beat 30-0. They're not winning that game if Josh Allen's not starring in that game. Okay. And Bush is being able to get 200 yards in a football game because 17's on the field. Cook, right. Cook's on the field. Bush. Cook's on the field. Okay. I mean,
you're a Reggie Bush guy?
No, I don't drink that shit. I mean, Bush beer?
No. Reggie Bush, the running back.
Reggie?
Yeah, I said it because you said Bush. I said, are you a Reggie Bush guy?
Reggie. I'm good friend. Oh my God, I'm friends with that guy too. I should get his ass on.
You should get his ass on. I remember when I was a kid, I used to play Madden.
What he thinks of Barkley.
I used to play Madden on my PSP or whatever those little handheld PlayStations were back in the day. and I would just be Reggie Bush in that game. Although the biggest memory of Reggie Bush for me is when he got absolutely fucking clobbered. I think that was Sheldon Brown. Was that Sheldon Brown who made that hit on Reggie Bush? That was one of the greatest football hits I've ever seen.
Yeah, but he was spectacular in college. I mean, he was spectacular in college. What'd you make of Kurt Warner saying that he's not sure that when it comes to how Jalen sees the game with complex schemes and all that, and why maybe AJ's bitching is because it's just, it seems like it's just conditioning drills. It's not really a complex offense. And
well, I mean, at the end of
it's
the day,
almost like AJ's getting bored.
Yeah, I mean, I think AJ eventually is going to have to shut up and buy into what the team is doing. I mean, like we just said with Myles Garrett, you can get 5 sacks and slam your helmet all you want. You signed the deal on the dotted line, my friend, and AJ chose to play here, dude. Like, he knows who Jalen Hurts is, And by the way, I don't really view that as a knock on Jalen Hurts.
No,
I really don't, because how many dual threat quarterbacks that are coming into the game today have that very same problem? I mean, Jalen has lived, think about it, he's lived his entire football life, pre-NFL, being able to run around everybody. When you have that, like he's never, Tom Brady, as you always said, couldn't jump over a stack of quarters. So when the pocket was closing on him, guess what? He had to throw the freaking ball. When that's your out, you learn how to throw the ball better. Or consistently with complex schemes and all these different things. I don't think Jalen's ever had to learn those things. I don't think he's ever been put in that position, growing up, because he was such a great athlete. And now that's led to him being a different style of quarterback. What I do know is the style still allows us to win a lot of football games, and we've seen that. So just keep building on what he does best, man. Don't try and turn him into somebody he's not. Don't try and turn him into Kurt Warner. He's not. That's not his game. So I would just keep building on what Jalen does best. And I think that's what Steichen did for him so well that I think is missing, with some of these coordinators now.
What'd you make of Kevin Patullo? How about this? Has he turned a corner in your eyes?
Well, I think he's gotten better at the feel of being a play caller. This is where I pushed back on John a little bit on this today, because I'm like, John, you're making it seem like play callers have nothing to do with the game. And he's like, no, that's not what I mean. I'm more saying that people who view it from the outside don't know what the goal is of each play, so they can't properly judge a play caller. A play caller still has an impact on the game, on the offense, on the quarterback. And I'm reading The Honest NFL, the guy on Twitter who used to work in front offices in the NFL. He actually worked with the Eagles. John knows who it is. He won't tell me. He won't tell me who the anonymous guy is behind the account. But and he wrote, there is an art. There is you do have to learn being a play caller. You don't just become from a pass game coordinator to play caller and you know what you're doing. There is a learning curve. Most coordinators, it takes a year plus of play calling to be able to learn it. And I think you saw the first positive sign of development in that regard from Kevin Patullo. Some of it is a little head scratching to me, because why did it take a rocket scientist to tell you using play action would help things in your run game and your quarterback? I don't know. To me, that feels like some of the easiest stuff. Like, that would be the first thing I would try. All right, we're struggling on offense. Let's run the ball and let's play some play action. Old school football. I mean, that's like the most basic form of offense. So that part of it is a little concerning, but I did think he had his best game. I think he deserves some credit. If we're going to criticize him when it looks bad, you got to give him a little credit when it looks good.
Make sure you send that link to Gary Cobb if you can.
Yeah, I got it.
What'd you make of the defense, Xander? Did you think how do you, I mean, we saw sacks again. There's no doubt Nakobe Dean is a better ball player right now than Campbell. It's 100%. Not a rip on him. That's
my biggest takeaway from the game, though, is that Nakobe Dean makes such a difference on this defense. I think
they look like they play faster.
You know what I'll tell you, though, Sills, that we've had ups and downs on the defense this year. Don't they kind of look like what we expected this summer?
Yeah, yes.
You lost 5 stars,
I'm not
5
disappointed
guys
with them.
You know what I mean? You lost 5 guys.
Dude,
you got a bunch of young guys playing on D. They kind of look like They kind of
I'm not
look like what we all
disappointed.
probably expected. They look. I know I said there are going to be no holes again, but I think there's a real element to, you lose that many guys. It's there's going to be some turnover, some growing pains, and some of those things. And I think you're going through that. I do think you still see a lot of upside with the defense.
Yeah.
So I think they're still in a good spot defensively.
AJ Brown. I mean, no. These next couple games, then we'll get to our supers there. Then we'll get to Gary Cobb. These next couple games with AJ, Green Bay, Detroit, coming out of the bye. Then you got Dallas. Then you got Chicago. Then you got the Raiders. And then you got the Chargers.
Yeah, we have a tough schedule. We got a tough schedule coming up. I'll say this about AJ. We are not a better football team without AJ Brown.
Nope.
Despite what anybody said. We played the Giants' 6th and 7th cornerbacks, for crying out loud. All right. You're going to play the Lions, the Packers. Now you're getting into November football, November, December football. This is where your money is made. All right. So it's time to get AJ involved. I think the offense can build on what they've been able to do the last 2 weeks, especially this week. I know it was the Giants, but some of the different looks in the run game, some of the under center play action stuff you're seeing, even some of the route concepts. I mean, Devontae Smith over the middle, I saw it multiple times yesterday. Right out of play action. There was even one that got called back from an offensive flag. I forget. I think it was a holding on the offensive line, but Devontae Smith completed a third down that got called back. They were doing that yesterday. Build on those things. Now you got A.J. Brown back in the mix. That's going to make you better and more potent in the passing game. I think they'll be able to continue to build on it. But definitely some good opponents coming up, Sills. It all depends, Sills, that Packer game. It all depends on what Jordan Love you get. If you get the second half Jordan Love last night, it's going to be a good football game. All right. But sometimes he goes full pumpkin. And
he's got a lot of Eli Manning in him.
Yeah, I kind of see that too.
He's got a lot of Eli Manning. Also, by the way, Kurt Warner just texted us and said he really enjoyed being on. Great. So he'll be on again. So we really appreciate him being on in the first hour. We'll get to Gary Cobb. Let's get to some of these supers, Zan.
Yeah, that's right. We only have a few here. Sean, what's up, Sean? Appreciate you, brother. That's why I've said Jalen's best asset is his weakness. I don't know what you mean exactly.
Well, he doesn't play to his weaknesses where he tries forcing the football, maybe. And that what he does is he knows what his limitations are, and he plays to his strengths and gets away from I think of all the quarterbacks in the league, Xander, he might understand his weaknesses more than most of those guys, because how many times do you watch a quarterback do this? They'll throw into a tight window and you do this. You just said it about Jordan Love and you go like this. Why are you making that stupid play? Hurts doesn't do that, dude.
Yeah, no,
That's
you're
the
right.
one thing he doesn't do. He doesn't force the football in to shitty plays.
Here's Brian Pump. Jalen Hurts wants to be like Mike, but he's really Derek Fisher. Oh, come on,
man. Come on, Pump.
You got to be kidding me, Pump. Here's Jay Fizzle. What's up? Sills and Z, they used the pin and pull all day yesterday, dude. Six offensive linemen. They had pin and pulls going on. They were doing everything, Jay Fizzle, yesterday to get that run game going, and it worked. Brandon says, Sills, work your magic to get Nick Saban, please. That would be great.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I've been working on it for 2 weeks for him. I'm hoping to get him on during the holiday.
We got that. I think we got this. Maybe AJ is tweeting because the organization isn't listening to him. Also a masterclass. Well, I've mentioned that before. This organization is not an organization that likes to be told they're wrong. They don't.
100%
they do not. Whether it's Big Sills or it's AJ Brown, they don't like to be told.
Absolutely, man.
All right, one more. Sean says, how can you not mention Deacon Jones, Sills? You know, if sacks was recorded, he would have killed Reggie's record respectfully.
It's like he ended up with like 175 sacks. Deacon Jones he said it many times to me. You know, the only thing he left the NFL with, Xander? A broken heart, because he had to retire because he loved the game so much. By the way, they outlawed the head slap because of him.
Oh, did
they? He used to head slap everybody, and they finally outlawed. Look at Gary Cobb laughing.
Sean, you gave me some homework for the night. I'm going to go check out.
He outlawed the head slap. I said, you were the guy? He goes, yeah, I used to head slap the shit out of players. And after he left the game, they outlawed the head slap.
Good stuff. Sean, appreciate it, brother. What's that?
Imagine you being able to hit a guy upside his head, bang!
Yeah,
Just
right.
hit him upside his head like that. Brett Toast.
All right, Sills, good show, man. I'll be listening to you and Gary talk about it all.
Also, too, Howard Eskin at 5:30. Big Z, we will catch you in the morning with Birds 365. Great work as always, my friend.
Yes, sir. Well done, Big Sills. There's Sean's. Make sure you get his.
Taking off running and not seeing open receivers. I think he's getting better at that a little bit. All right. Yeah. Earlier, we got a big show today. So in the first hour, we had Kurt Warner. Now we're going to go to our friend, our resident expert, and a guy that you guys know that I grew up idolizing. 10 plus years in the National Football League. He's with Fox 29 now. Former Philadelphia Eagle, my friend, G. Cobb. He's going to give you guys the skinny here. He's not going to tell you glaze. This is not going to be glaze broadcasting here. He's going to tell you what he saw. How you doing, G. Cobb?
Doing great. How you making out?
I'm doing well, man. What were your takeaways from Sunday's game in handling the Giants?
I thought, the thing started off with, I thought the biggest statement was that the Eagles' offensive line showed up.
Yeah.
They were working together, and it's so important, with the offensive line. They were firing off, with the double teams to get movement, let's say on the nose, giving the young center they had, giving him some help.
Brett Toth.
Because, he was in there and, you could, asking him to do what Juergens was doing, it doesn't make sense, see, because he's not the same player. He doesn't have the experience. He has trouble at times when he's single blocking, but, to have them working on double teams and giving him help, getting movement. They were getting movement on the defensive tackles.
Yeah.
And, that was the key. I mean, you had guys really, they were giving the running backs holes to run through, and showed that there's nothing wrong with Saquon. It's not him. It really was the line, which is not a surprise. And they had to change up some things because some of the guys are banged up, and they're not at a point where they can be as dominant as they were. But I think as this season goes along, we can see more of that, and if we see more of that, then, they got a shot to go ahead and give us what they gave us last year. But the key is that offensive line getting healthy. So they got a couple weeks now. Hopefully the guys can get healthier, because I tell you, boy, one thing I was impressed with yesterday that didn't involve the Eagles game, it was Green Bay.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons and Green Bay, man. That's what this is going to be about. It's going to be, I think it's going to, you're talking about really Detroit. I think it's Green Bay, Detroit, and the Eagles. Somebody's going to the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be those three teams. I still wouldn't want to, count out the Rams too. The Rams are there. But those are the four teams. These other teams, and all of those teams, you got to be strong up front. You got to do things on the offensive and defensive lines. That's where games are won and lost. If you cannot deal with those teams on that level, but I think the Eagles, when they're healthy, the defensive line is getting better, and the offensive line. So, you got to come out and chew people's head off, man. Coming out making friends. Look, we can be friends during the offseason, but we are running the ball down your throat, whether you like it or whether you don't. We don't care. And then that sets up all the passing game. When the Eagles are running like that, you are in trouble, because they got receivers and they got the other weapons, but they hadn't done it all year long. Come on, they hadn't gotten that running game going all year long.
If you had to give a game ball between these two players, okay, I asked this question in the post-game show, and I'm going to ask you it. Would it be Jalen Hurts or would it be Saquon Barkley?
I think it's Saquon. I think, once the running game gets going, see who Jalen's throwing to. Guys are wide open. I mean, those plays to the throws to tight end, to Dallas Goedert. Come on. these guys, they're standing there, they're thinking about them running the ball into the end zone. So, of course, when it's a play fake, the guy is, come on, it's not somebody within 10 yards of him. So I think because if they do get that running game going, man, I mean, look at the Super Bowl. Kansas City, oh, we're going to stop Saquon Barkley. Yeah, but your guys can't defend our guys man-to-man all day. You can't do it. You can't put those corners back there and they're going to cover those guys. They're not going to do it. So I think that that's where really the Eagles are the most imposing, even with Green Bay. Now, you see Green Bay, man, they rush the passer.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? We're going to hit you guys right straight in the mouth, man. We're not just going to throw and – no. We're going to run the ball down your throat for a while. Then we're going to throw, see? And when you impose your will on a team, man, you know, and the Eagles getting healthy, boy, you know. And I was just looking at Landon Dickerson. He was interviewing after the game. You know? Boy, man, look at this dude's arms, man. Dude looked like somebody's legs, you know. And they're big guys. And Landon is a big key. You know, he knows how to get in there, man, and chew a guy's, you know, chew his head off, man. Get in there and get physical. But that's what I loved about yesterday. Hey, man, the Giants have a good young defensive line. They got good players in there. But the Eagles got physical on them.
They did.
And that's the way it's going to have to be. They got to get physical. The Green Bay, you see the way Green Bay rushed the passer? I mean, man, they were coming there. I said, oh, boy, man.
By the way, after the bye, it's at Lambeau.
That's what I'm saying, man. You better believe it. This thing is going to get real serious, you know, because you got teams that some good football teams that hey, the Eagles got a taste of sitting on the top of the mountain, you know. They say it's nice up here on this mountain, man. It's nice up here, you know. And these other teams want a piece of it. And that's the fun. That's why this is going to be a fist fight. And I think the Eagles are ready for it. You know, the other thing I like is Kelly Ringo. Kelly Ringo not start playing like, man, you're capable of playing, man. Somebody must have had a talk with him or something, man. He's starting to play. You know, they still could pick up another corner, but saw him. He played a good game, you know. So this is going to be, hey, man, this is fun, you know. But the Eagles needed to do that. They gotta have their running game. They can't, you know, get some good teams, man. You need to be able to run the football. It needs to be, you know, they got to get physical, and they have the line, and they're getting healthy. So it's getting down to that, man. And this is going to be a fist fight to see who's going to go to the Super Bowl. I'll tell you that.
Do you think the Eagles sent a message to A.J. Brown yesterday with how they played?
Well, yeah.
Well, here, let me set it up this way. Gary, there's some people out there thinking, well, maybe we can win a Super Bowl without him. I don't believe that you can't win. Or do you believe that you can win? Well,
you know what? I'd rather have him in along, but I think that he definitely would have to admit, man, the way they looked, you know, because if they're running the ball on a team and they're running the football effectively, you know, you don't have to be great receivers to be getting open, you know. So that is a point. But they need AJ, though, because the teams they're going to be playing, you know, it's going to be fun. But you look at Green Bay. Green Bay's got a talented group. You know, Detroit, we saw the way Detroit's been able to score. I mean, and Detroit has been aching. They feel like it was stolen from them last year. So they're going to have a chip on their shoulder and everything. And that's what the fun is. Fine. You show up with your attitude, and we don't care because we're gonna dominate and force our will on you. And, you know, we're going to run the ball on you till you like it. We're going to run the ball down your throat until you like it. That's what I like.
Hey, Gary, guess what?
That's what
these next two teams, when the Eagles come off their bye, most likely will be 11-3 combined. When you take on these two teams, and hey, the Bears are now sitting. Don't look now, but they're 5-2. They could be 6-2 on the season as well.
Yeah, I don't think the Bears are ready for the party. But
no, I don't think they're ready for the party either yet. I don't
either. Green Bay and Detroit, man, you know.
Now let's be candid. You know what? The Rams are a couple bad plays away from being undefeated themselves. You know, they're a blocked field goal away from having one loss on their schedule too.
Yeah.
And another bad play. Again, I mean, they're like a couple plays away from being unbeaten. They're a good football team. And I thought they took care of the Eagles, okay? I mean, I'd like to see that game again.
Yeah, they're a very good team. And that's why, all those teams are in it. And I think that, the Eagles have to respect all those teams. They know they are going to have to play their best football. And we still, the Eagles and Jalen said this yesterday, which was very important. Look, we want to be playing our best football as the season gets along. We need to be getting better, And I got to give Jalen a lot of credit. He stays and keeps himself. He's not running his mouth a lot, but he knows he needs to get better. Everybody needs to get better.
How do you think he played, Gary? How do you think he played?
I thought he played outstanding. For what they were going to ask him to do. And he's basically taking advantage of the fact that once they got the running game going, everything the passing game. He don't have to be great in the passing game. Just getting the ball to open receivers, and Devontae is a great route runner. He's wide open. I mean, for those throws. So it's not the toughest of throws he had to make. But, Jalen is about winning. He doesn't care about, he don't have to have, this star and that star and all that stuff. It's about winning. And it's great to have him as the leader because, look, this other stuff is going to come. You're going to get all the gravy you want if we win. But that's what got to be the focus. It can't be on, I want to get my stats. Later for stats. Stats will be us getting another Lombardi. That's what you want to get. And that's what the aim has got to be. And then, and really, a lot of times you see quarterbacks, they're not necessarily have that mentality. They want stats. They want, get all the glory and everything. The glory is going to come with winning, and Jalen has a real good attitude about that. And I think that's good for this team because they're going to have a fight because looking at Green Bay, man, Green Bay has got a good team. The Detroit, these guys got a good football teams, and you know what? They're hungry. They haven't had anything. They haven't feasted on a Lombardi trophy. Eagles have already got one. So these guys are going to be hungry. So it's not going to be where they're going to hand it to them. They're going to have to go in and take it.
About this, Gary, we had Kurt Warner on in the first hour, and he said this about AJ.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes it's all being misplaced here and how people are looking at him at being selfish. You know it, and I know it. What's the one thing that you and I loved about playing in the NFL? It was competing. And it was just being a competitor and going out and competing against the guy in front of you. We really have no control on Super Bowls or anything else. But the love of the game of football for guys like us that have made it to that level and played, you got to love to compete on a daily basis. Kurt said, this is more about competing and wanting to be involved and competing. Whether he was on an 0-15 team or a 15-0 team, he wants to be involved and he wants to compete. And when you're getting no targets and you're getting limited targets, it's like basically just running wind sprints. Mm-hmm. For a guy like you and me who have competed at the highest level, I mean, dude, do you see that angle a little bit through a quarterback's eyes like that and a Hall of Famer that this comes down through? This guy just wants to be a competitor out there. He just wants
without a doubt. I think he definitely he wants to be a part of the whole thing, but he definitely wants to get opportunities to show how good he is. I definitely think
to show his greatness.
That's right. And he knows that there are times when they could use him. They need him, to make a play, and so he wants to be there for the team. And I think that he definitely. It was the thing with the hamstring. I could see where on that last catch,
Minnesota,
Minnesota. I could see that he stopped running kind of because he felt something back there in the hamstring. So he'll have time to get healthy, and we need AJ. We need the best of AJ, to be able to beat these teams they're playing because both Green Bay and Detroit and LA, look, those are good football teams. They are going to score some points. we got to score. We need some big plays, against them. And we're going to need some extraordinary play, meaning we need, where we only got a few guys in the league can make certain plays. And AJ is one of those guys. He's one of the few in the league who can make the great catch, the one-handed catch, whatever we need in order to get over the hump. So he wants to be part of that. And so I think that they're going to try to give him that opportunity. They need him. So hopefully, you can get him back, get healthy, man, and get back, because it's going to get serious when they come back against Green Bay and Detroit.
Absolutely. What'd you make of the defense, Gary?
I think they're playing better. I like the, I thought the defensive line playing better. They still have room for growth, but I definitely think that Nakobe Dean has been a great addition, to the defense, as a linebacker.
He plays so fast.
What's
he
that?
Just plays with so much speed. He's like a missile out there.
That's right. And he's got the right attitude. And I think that he's a great shot in the arm for the whole defense and everything, but they're going to need everybody. I just, the one thing I wasn't crazy about is that, you're taking the youngster out of there, Jahad Campbell. I still want to see him on the field, because he's a guy that can make a play too. He's probably one of the best athletes they have on that team.
Yep.
And he's made some big plays so far this year. I think he's a guy that can make a play that's change a game. So I want to see them, keep him in the rotation. I know getting Nakobe out there is important, and Nakobe does need to be on the field. He's probably the main leader defensively of that team, and he doesn't mind getting in anybody's face and letting them know, look, we need you to play better. So they're going to have to play their best football. This is the fun, because there is no guarantee. Somebody tell me, oh, they're so much better than Green Bay, or they're so much better than Detroit. Nah, look, those guys are hungry. They have not gotten a taste, so they feel like they deserve to be there.
I don't think the Eagles are better than those teams. I think the Eagles are right along with those teams. I think, like you said, I think you could put Green Bay, Detroit, Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, and I mean Tampa Bay 6-1 right now, or 6-2 right now as well.
That's right.
And you could put the Rams in a hat, and you could come out and go like this: Green Bay, Detroit in the NFC title game. Makes sense. Philadelphia and Tampa Bay in the NFC championship game.
Yeah.
That makes sense too. I mean, the one thing I'm noticing, do you agree? All the teams this year, whereas the Eagles in 24 really didn't have any flaws that were exposed, because, nobody really knew what the passing game was because it was such a dynamic run game. I mean, they didn't really have any flaws. Everybody's got a flaw this year that are one of those elite teams. Do you agree?
Oh, without a doubt. And I think, the whole thing is, how best do they deal with that, so that they're at their best at the end of the season. And, the Eagles, come on, secondary wise, that, man, see some of the play in the secondary, you're going, man, every time they drop back, I'm holding my breath, because, you look up at somebody running wide open. So they know they got to play better. And even offensively, they know they're going to have to play better, because they're going to be playing against a better defense than they saw yesterday. So, but that's the fun. This is the fun of it, man. Nobody's guaranteed anything, but it's going to be a fist fight to see. It's going to be a serious competition, probably even more than it was last year. There's going to be competition. See who's going to the Super Bowl, and you want to be playing your best football later in the season. You want to be playing your best football. You want everybody healthy, everybody that can help you. You want them there to help you in that. And that's what this is going to be fun, man. I like this stuff.
I think you said something here that maybe kind of convinced me. I think that in the future, Gary, do you agree with this? I think one of the things about the future of Nakobe Dean is always going to be surrounding around his health, on whether or not he can remain healthy. But if you're the Philadelphia Eagles now, in the way that you see him the last 2 weeks and the impact that he's had, especially in the run game, and like you said, I don't want to take Campbell off the field. Could you see this where they go to him in the offseason here, Nakobe, and go, listen, we want the future of the linebacking core to be Campbell and you. Do you think that they give him a contract extension where Bond has got another 2 years after this, and where the replacement is Bond and Campbell or Dean right now, that the future at the linebacker position, I think it really all depends on his health. Do you think he's played himself into that conversation?
Yeah, most definitely. I think that they see what Jakobi has brought to this team, and they see if you're down there, even at practice sometime, I'm over there. You see who got no problem walking up to anybody and telling them, "Look, get it together, man. Let's go. Come on," and getting everybody, and the guys following him. It's Jakobi. He's the leader of that defense, and he you see him barking during the game, barking at guys, man. He's one of the keys, and you see how they're playing the run more aggressively with him in there. So I definitely think he's got a part to play, but I don't know how it's all going to wind up. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jihad, if he winds up outside as a pass rusher,
as an edge guy.
Well, you see, they had him doing some of it yesterday.
Yeah.
So he does some of that, but I think that they're going to just kind of wait on that because that's some tough decisions they got to make.
Yeah.
And you got some outstanding young players, and I think there's room for everybody. Because they can work all these guys in because you never have enough good players.
No. So last one here,
they got
Gary.
some decisions to make because that money, man. Woo. They can't pay everybody.
No,
so can't pay everybody, man.
I got you. Last question for you here.
Yeah.
So Kevin Patullo, the last couple weeks, I mean, how do you feel about him? Do you think he's starting to feel the groove, or is it more so that the run game has now picked up where it gives him more freedom? Because I want to throw this at you. When you lose personnel and you lose people like Cam Jurgens, you lose people like AJ, you're injured at Landon Dickerson's spot.
Yeah.
You're going to have to kind of play musical chairs a little bit with how you're going to play call and situational play calling. So my point is, do you think he's finding his groove now? How do you feel about him? Do you feel he's getting better? Because obviously Hurts is playing better the last couple of weeks.
Well, one of the big things is, of course, the players can help things a lot.
Yeah.
When they start running the ball like that, how hard is it? Nobody's saying he's running the ball too much or nothing, because when they're playing well and that offensive line is healthy, it makes his job a lot easier. But see, he came in and he's really in a tough position because how can you just get away from the running game and become a passing team, at the beginning of the season? You couldn't do that, even though they weren't running the ball well. You still had to give Saquon certain number of carries, Now, as they've struggled, there have been games, where they've gotten away from the running game, and people are more understanding after they've seen, like, well, look, he's tried to run the ball. They're not running the ball well. So he's kind of caught in a tough situation. So I definitely think he's smiling a lot more now, once they got that running game going, because how can you, be critical of him when you see that they haven't been able to run the ball all season? So you go, why isn't you giving the ball to Saquon? Look, Saquon's averaging 2 yards a carry. The guy's got to change. You got to throw the ball because, they haven't had success there. But see, once they start having success, though, makes his job a lot easier because he can just sprinkle in throws when he wants to, and in great situations where he can throw the ball if they're able to run the ball effectively. That's why, getting all those guys, getting Cam Jurgens back out there, getting a healthy Lane Dickerson, getting him healthy. Now, a guy could be out there, but he's limping and he's not really able to fire out. And then the big thing that they did a great job of double teaming people, and then you come off on the linebacker. They did a great, at the start of the game. So I think as this team gets healthier, Kevin Patullo gets smarter, see, because it makes his job a lot easier. And if they're struggling running the ball, you can't keep running the ball. You're not having success. You got to throw it more. So he's had a tough job, and right now, hey, 6-2. I think they're sitting. Their job is nowhere near being done. In fact, the job is really just getting started. But as they get healthy, man, they got some big games coming up. They're gonna have to play these teams now, Green Bay and Detroit. Who knows? They could see them again in the playoffs. They're gonna see one of them in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
So you might as well know this is gonna be some kind of party, and we're gonna see. If the Eagles continue to go the way they're going, they got as good a shot as anybody because they know how to win. They know how to win.
Hey, I've got to leave you with this here.
Yeah.
So you've got a $70 million buyout for Lincoln Riley. Dude, there's a $70 million buyout on that guy's contract.
I mean, these guys are, what you see, my man with Penn State, you see him, right?
48. Did you see what Brian Kelly just got? 54.
Yeah, he's got like 50 or whatever. And Penn State, he had what, 60 million. I mean, all I can say is, oh my goodness.
I should have got into coaching. You don't have to be good at it.
Hey, you better believe. I mean, I look at it and go, man, woo.
Lincoln Riley has a $70 million buyout at Southern Cal. And by the way, I think they could stroke that check and not think anything about it. With the endowment they have.
Those alumni out of there. Of course, I never got anything from them, but,
Yeah. Hey, I had Bobby V on the morning show, man, in Tampa, and he goes like this. Cobb, I think G. Cobb was driving a Cadillac around there when he was I think he was going to a local car dealership and he had a new one every week. I don't know.
Hey, if all of a sudden I go downstairs one morning and a car just shows up, what am I gonna do?
Hey, let me tell you. Wait a minute here. So Jimmy goes like this to me. Where'd you get the Corvette from? I go, I found it. He goes, you found it. Where? Under a tree? And I'm like, hey, I don't know. I found it. What do you want me to say? G. Cobb, great stuff, man. We got a bye week. Oh, one more. Will there be silence from AJ this week? Or do you think we will get a couple breadcrumbs this week from him?
Well, figure we need something. We need something to eat, be able to eat. So he's probably gonna give us something, man.
Hey, did you hear what he did? He deleted all of his positive love tweets.
Is that so?
Jalen Hurts on all the things that he gave him, compliments on. He went back in his Twitter account and he deleted all of them.
Oh,
all of his love for the quarterback.
Well, I haven't been checking, but hey, we just need to see AJ when we got the Green Bay, especially second half. We need some big plays against Green Bay and Detroit, man. We need that's when we would need to hear AJ. We need to hear you loud and clear, AJ. Loud and clear.
G. Cobb, we will catch you next week. Thank you so much, my friend.
All right, have a good one.
You got it. Yeah, we didn't really I thought there'd be some sort of I think he's so strategic. Let me think. When will there be something? It's got to be Tuesday or Wednesday. It's got to be something Tuesday or Wednesday. Maybe what I should do is kind of prod him a little bit. AJ, you're not here. I know how to prod him. Guys, follow me here. I need AJ. So here, this is what I'm going to tweet. Eagles, AJ Brown. I'm doing this right now as I speak. AJ Brown. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congrats. Congrats on now being the number 2 wide receiver on the team. And let's put Devontae in here. Devontae. There we go. There's Devontae right there. Let's add him. Devontae Smith. There we go. Devontae. There we go. Devontae, congrats on being receiver number 1. being wide receiver number 1. You've earned it. You have earned it. You have earned it. Big Sills speaks truths again. There you go. JAKIB sends its love. It's love. Eagles wide receiver, A.J. Brown. Eagles wide receiver, A.J. Brown. Congrats on being, and now being, the number 2 wide receiver on the team. Devontae, congrats being number 1. There you go. Congrats on being number 1. There you go. That's it. Send. Bang. Just like that. Let's see how that goes. Well, don't you think he's now done it? I don't know how to read, man. I'm a picture guy. That's why Ray Denninger's book is great. By the way, Ray will be on Thursday. As childish as you're claiming AJ to be, oh my God, sticks and stones, douchey names will never hurt me. How's Sills taking the NFC? Hey, October 27th, Junior. We'll see how you finish. It's not how you drive, brother. It's how you finish. And it's how you arrive. I saw you have a nuclear meltdown in 23. Sills is so childish. You mean like what? Your wide receiver acting like, well, wait a minute. I'm only acting like your wide receiver acts like an infant. I cover people that are champions like Devontae, and I cover childish people like AJ. Habitual line stepper. What the fuck are you talking about, douchey? The biggest hater. I don't hate anybody, guy. Don't hate anybody. Oh, wait a minute. Here's a good one. This guy has a good game against Minnesota and the Giants, and all of a sudden, Jalen Hurts is an MVP. Okay. Washington is hot garbage. So were the New York Giants that beat the By the way, the Giants won the series this year. I mean, they won. You told me that you were going to split with the New York Giants? Come on now. You kidding me? Sills is in the entertainment industry. In case y'all missed that memo, look at Duke. Duke, you're one of my new friends now. Somebody with some actual content. Unlike this guy here. Hey, did you see him against the Giants practice squad? Wow. Woo. Fucking great. Only M. Reyes would sit there and drop the knees over a guy thrown against the worst secondary in pro football on Sunday. Sills, that post won't tweak AJ's berries. Call him the highest paid. Oh. Look at Bob giving me ammo. Come on, Bob. You're right. The highest paid number 2. Oh, my God, Bob, that's even better. You're right. AKA. Here you go, right here. AKA, the highest paid number 2. AKA, the highest paid number 2 receiver. The highest paid number 2. oh, man. This is harsh. I want him to stop, too, also. The Giants were still in the game in game 2? I don't think so. They were not in that game. So these next 2 games ain't the Giants. Going against number 2 and number 5 teams against the run in the league. Oh, yeah, this is going to be, hey, absolutely. Absolutely. Why? Devontae did the last time I tweeted at him. Why, are you under the impression I didn't get to Devontae? I did. So much so, Devontae had to tweet me. Woo-wee. Well, hey, I guarantee you some of those takes that Kurt Warner had in the first hour are going to piss some people off because Kurt Warner is not sure that Jalen, how he is in the pocket and how he sees in the passing game. Doesn't know if he has that skill set. Was Minnesota the worst or second best? You're a clown. They're not going anywhere, dog. Are you under the impression they're fucking going somewhere? They're not going to the postseason. Lions can't stop the run. They're just playing with leads. Detroit's defense is injured. Yeah, okay. All right. Remember something. If you can lose to the Giants, you can lose to anybody. This is what you do when you have nothing or anything to talk about or crap on. Really? Well, you'd be wrong, Junior. Tomorrow, Brian Baldinger at 3:30. He'll be with us. And we will talk a little pro football with him. And he'll break down everything with your Eagles tomorrow. Because it's an off week, this is where we put people like Jimmy Johnson on. So how you doing? So, kid, go and listen to your loser shows like Bill Cunnilingus. Minnesota would be considered if they kept Sam Darnold. Probably so. But when you don't have a quarterback, you're not going anywhere. If you don't show up to play, you can lose to anybody. And that includes everyone. I think more so this year than ever, man. I'm with you on that. What is Sills going to say when the Eagles beat the Packers? Ooh, I'll say you beat the Packers and a really good team. Hey, well, let's see you get there, kid. I know you've turned it around. I know you're. Hey, by the way, I don't think you're better than Green Bay. I don't think you're better than Detroit. I don't think you're better than the Bucks. I don't think you're better than the Rams. I don't think they're better than you. I don't. You're not last year's fucking team. You got holes all over your teams, as those other teams do. I'm not saying they're better than you also. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And for John, I heard him say the hip drop tackle. I've known that term since I was in high school. That hip drop tackle. It's a technique that they teach DBs that aren't real big hitters. So I'm sorry to say that he's not heard that. I've known that since I was in high school. I used to use the hip drop tackle. I got a picture of me tackling Ironhead Hayward like that. Last year's team almost lost to the Rams in the playoffs. Even more dominant teams can lose a game. Well, I don't think there's a dominant team at all anywhere in the NFL. By the way, let's take a look at this. And then we got Howard Eskin at the bottom of the hour here. So let's see here. NFL. Since we're here at the halfway mark, let's take a look at this. Here's the NFC picture right now. The number one team in the NFC is the Packers. Number 2 are the Eagles. Number 3 are the Buccaneers. Number 4 are the Seahawks. Number 5 are the Lions. And number 6 are the Rams. And number 7 are the 49ers. So let's see. Packers are 5-1-1. Eagles are 6-2. Bucks are 6-2. Seahawks are 5-2. Lions are 5-2. Rams are 5-2. Niners are 5-3. I think the AFC is even more wild. I mean, this is wild here. The Colts, what? They're 7-1. By the way, Jonathan Taylor, holy shit, is he having a great year. On pace for 1,800 yards, 24 touchdowns. I mean, Daniel Jones is an MVP. Daniel Jones has played the best quarterback of any quarterback in the first half of the season. Would you not agree? Let's take a look at Daniel Jones. Yeah, I got it. I'm sure you think Hurts has. Let's see Daniel Jones and how well he's played in the first half of the season. Daniel Jones right now is on pace for 4,400 yards and 28 touchdowns and a 71 completion percentage, and his team is 7-1. Jones is playing the best football of any quarterback in the National Football League right now. They're just playing spectacular. And the way they're running the ball, I mean, Justin Herbert is carrying his football team. Man, Herbert's on pace for 35 touchdowns and 4,600 passing yards. Stafford in the first half, 4,500 yards. And how about Matthew Stafford? Matthew Stafford's the MVP. Is it me? Or are they having fun again? Yes, it's a great comment. It's a great comment. How about this here? Look at Matthew Stafford. Xander, did you know this? Stafford's on pace for 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 5 picks. 109 quarterback rating. Wow. Wow. I mean, is anybody playing better than that guy? Holy cow. That is incredible. I think Jeffrey hired the wrong guy. Should have been Shane the whole time. Yeah, but you're not going to blow a guy out when he takes you to the playoffs. This is probably, Sills, who is the real Daniel Jones? I think you're right to say that. We saw that with Sam Darnold last year, right? You know, you're watching Sam Darnold, the guy throws for over 35 touchdowns, and all of a sudden you go like this. Those final 2 games, the last regular season game that dictated the NFC North, and then he got into the playoffs and he got whacked in the playoffs too. You go like this. Holy cow. Does the real Daniel Jones show up? Okay. The longevity is so, I mean, yeah, I agree. Let's see here. It's like almost like nobody has tape on Daniel Jones. Not this Daniel Jones, they don't. But Sam Darnold had weapons. Well, what's he doing up in Seattle? Let's take a look at what he's doing in Seattle right now. Are you under the impression that Sam Darnold's not having a good season in Seattle? Darnold's on pace for 4,300 yards and 30 touchdowns. And he's 5-2 up there. So the 49ers regretting the Purdy contract after seeing Mac Jones. Whew. I don't know. Here, I'll tell you what, one thing is for sure. You don't have to have an elite passer to win ball games. Some of these guys that are on these teams, like Mayfield, Jones, Mac Jones, Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, all these guys are reclamation projects. So when you're sitting there talking to me about elite quarterbacks, would you consider those guys elite? Jones has weapons now. Well, let me ask you something, Jace. You guys are calling Saquon Barkley elite. Why wouldn't that same philosophy work for Daniel Jones going into a better team? I mean, it worked for Barkley. Jones going to a better team? How come you're not giving him the kudos there? Right. The O-line. I told you a couple of years ago, Quentin Nelson is the best guard in football. Nobody plays better guard than him. He is the best offensive guard. Now that Zach Martin is retired, He's the best guard in football. The guy's a pancake machine. No, he wasn't. They never allowed him to be elite. He was good. He never had elite years there. He had one elite year in New York when he was there. They were not elite years. Josh Jacobs had a better career in Las Vegas than Saquon did in New York. Facts, look them up. I think Jackson Dart is going to be a problem. Lindstrom is really good. The kid from Atlanta? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Lindstrom's a guard. Yes. Lindstrom is a really good player. I think that Atlanta offensive line's pretty good. Never make it, guy. Never happen. Let's see how Jones reacts. Yes, I agree 100%. Yeah, Jackson Dart, man, he was well coached by Lane Kiffin. Okay? Good organization that spent in a good GM that knows how to manage the money. Sounds like the Eagles. Eagles do a good job. Unfortunately, they didn't do that great a job, in my opinion, at retooling the football team this offseason. Seals, do you think the Hurts winning is everything and AJ competition is everything, is what the issue is? Hurts wanting to win, AJ wanting to compete. That's kind of what Kurt Warner said. And I think it's up to the quarterback to have to manage that, in my opinion. Seals, if the season ended today at the midway point, who wins the playoff matchups? Okay, let's take a look at that. Packers would get the bye. It would be Eagles and Niners. It'd be Bucks and Rams. It'd be Seahawks and Lions. I think the Eagles beat the Niners. I think the Rams, Rams or Bucks? I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take the Lions. So who would be the weakest seed? It'd be the Rams. It'd be Packers. Wow. It'd be Green Bay versus the Rams. Remember I told you at the beginning of the year, I said that the 49ers would win the NFC West, but the Rams would be better. Well, that's how this is playing out now. It'd be Green Bay and the Rams. Then it would be Eagles and Lions. It'd be at Lambeau, and it would be at Philly at the Link. Man, your final four teams would be Green Bay versus Rams and Eagles Lions. Wow. Man, these playoffs are looking good. They really are. I see the Bucks trading and getting Jalen Waddle from Miami Sills since Evans is out and Godwin's not back. You know that kid that just signed with the Raiders? I thought the Bucks would have went for that kid Lockett. You know the guy from Seattle? He just signed with them. I thought the Bucks would have been in line with that. It doesn't seem that they are. time for the Shedeur Sanders to get the hell out of Cleveland. They're not, get this, they're in no rush to play him, they said. That's right. Sean, I'm waiting to see how healthy. All right. We are going to have Howard Eskin at the bottom of the hour. I got to pay some bills here. Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm in all of America. They are the number one injury law firm for one reason. That's because they win, guys. If you have ever been hurt on the job, take it from me here. They've started this company 25 years ago, John and Ultima, his wife, and it has been a crusade for them, defending families across the country. Families that have had situations where one of the people in the family have been hurt at work. They've gone in, they take the case. By the way, they don't get paid unless you do. So that's the beautiful thing about this. They don't get paid unless you do. It'll be the easiest decision that you make. Go to forthepeople.com/big cells or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big cells or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sil sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
So Deion Sanders gets destroyed by Utah. And Pablo Torre, all he does is go after Bill Belichick. I mean, Deion Sanders is 16-17 and 9-14 in conference play. Some go like this. Well, Sills, what do you expect? It's Colorado. I get it. Hey, my expectations are this. You got a really famous coach now. I don't know if you have a good one. Explain this to me. Kurt Signetti takes over the worst college football program in the country, in Indiana. The worst program. The worst program in history of college football. The worst. And you know what his record is? Let's see, 11-2. He's 19-2 at Indiana. He's 19-2. Just signed a $93 million contract, $11.2 million a year. How you doing? That's how you turn a program around. That's how you turn a college fortune of a program around. Deion ain't turning shit around. But then again, what you got to do is you got to look at it and go, hey, he brought a lot of notoriety to Colorado. If Colorado wins 7 or 8 games a year, that's a good thing. They'll never win a national championship at Colorado. He don't work hard enough. Hey, Xander. Folks. Hey, Xander. I got something for you about Nick Saban. Penn State. You know Coach Terry? The most important Alabama coach in history next to Bear Bryant and Nick Saban? It's Coach Terry. Do you know who Coach Terry is? Does anybody know who Coach Terry is? Do you know who Coach Terry is? Anybody know? You ever heard of Coach Terry? There you go. Do this. Hey, Coach Terry or Miss Terry. There you go. Here's $20 million. I want to see Nick Saban turn that down. I want to see Nick Saban say no on game day to $20 million annually. He'd be the highest paid coach in all of football, pro and college. Hey, Coach. Okay. I told you $20 million on Friday. Saban at Penn State is my. How about this? Go like this. Hey, Coach, here's $20 million. And we'll give you all the money you need for your coaching staff. We'll give you another 20 for your coaching staff. Come coach Penn State. I want to see him turn that down. I want Penn State to do this. Hey, Joe Paterno, or excuse me, Nick Saban, turn down $20 million a year. I'll give you another 20. I'll give you another 20 for your assistants. Hey, by the way, we had a big show today, man, and it's going to close up even bigger here. We had Kurt Warner on with us in the first hour. Tomorrow, Baldy's going to be with us at 3:30. And Ray Dittinger is going to be with us on Thursday. And we're going to talk some football with Ray. We're going to talk about his new book. But you know the one guy that got 500,000 views the last time he was on? Because he went and said things that kind of upset people. Then again, hasn't Howard Eskin always pissed off people for 20 years? I've realized one thing listening to Howard. Being controversial is telling the truth. It's got nothing to do with outrageous takes. It's got everything to do with telling the truth. And for the man, he's like the Mariano Rivera today on our show. The man, the myth, the legend, the legendary Howard Eskin joins us right now here on the program.
I didn't know there was 500,000 people that even pay attention to things that are going on anymore.
No, I mean, with all the platforms, you got over 500,000 views on your take and your take on Hurts.
Here, I'm gonna. I don't like that phrase "take." It's like a sports talk
You must hate Jim Rome.
phrase.
Then.
It's like it's an opinion. It's an opinion
It is.
Based on people that you talk to. You know, your own eyes, your own understanding of what's going on. And if people don't want me to keep it real, then why do I want to be like a lot of the other people on the air that just throw out bullshit and just hope it sticks to the wall? I know I put my and I.
By
I
the
think
way,
it's
Howard.
important.
By the way, Kurt Warner agreed with you on Jalen Hurts today.
He did. I listened to it. When did he? I was listening to Nick
He was
Sirianni at the
talking
same.
about he's not sure that he sees the game. He knows where his opinion was. He knows when he knows where to throw the ball. He's as good as anybody.
Yeah, I like
But
Kurt.
when he has to read different progressions, that's when it gets a little bit more questionable on what he does when he's in that pocket like that.
Didn't he also say that that's the way a lot of quarterbacks are? They kind of lock into the one guy, and they don't go through their progressions.
They're not well coached today. They're not well schooled today.
Okay, there's certain quarterbacks that do that. I think Matthew Stafford does it. I think Jared Goff does it. They don't lock in. Those are the quarterbacks that kind of, hey, the guy's not open. Here's the, people are going to, these nitwits out there that don't like what I say. One thing, I'm going to ask you a question. What have you noticed the last two games that is different on offense?
Under center.
Absolutely correct. And that's the change. And I'm going to tell you, for years, and I know Kellen Moore, had some challenges with it. He wanted Jalen to be more under center. And I know they won a Super Bowl, and that's great. I mean, the MVP of that team last year of that team was Saquon Barkley. If he doesn't rush for 2,000 yards, then the quarterback's got to throw more passes. There's no question Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. People get carried away and you start putting them in the MVP mix. Let's relax. And Kurt Warner said something else that I thought was really important. When the fans say, "Oh, he should be the MVP," stop worrying about that. It's about winning a championship. It's not about awards. And the Hall of Fame is a career award. But it was more important for him to win a Super Bowl. And because that's part of an accomplishment, that you'll be in the Hall of Fame, and that's great. But people never forget that Super Bowl winning quarterback. There weren't many of them when Tom Brady was playing because obviously Tom Brady won more than his share. Actually, he didn't win as many.
Well, there was a time frame, Howard, between the Mannings and Brady and Roethlisberger. There was only like Flacco in there, and you had Foles in there. There weren't a lot of guys that were winning Super Bowls.
No, I mean, and that's important because, as he said, in football's probably, I think hockey's kind of is a team game because those guys really have to play together and they have to sacrifice for one another. Is what football does. Baseball is an individual game played by a team. Basketball is an individual game played by a team. They don't sacrifice. A lot of players don't sacrifice for the other players a lot more. I mean, Michael Jordan scored a lot of points, but he made those players better and sacrificed. The Warriors sacrifice for each other, even though Steph Curry has unbelievable numbers. But football, and we'll just deal with football now, you have to be together and sacrifice for your team, and you win for your team. So that's what it's all about. Winning a championship and not winning awards. If you win an MVP and you don't win a championship, what good is it? I mean, like, who cares? But the one thing that's different is that Jalen Hurts has, I've been told the term is evolved into accepting more playing under center because you can use play action, and play action makes it important to obviously allow those receivers
Do
to
you
be
think he
open.
recommended that, or do you think that was recommended to him?
And it's been recommended to him for a couple of years, and he
Oh,
wasn't comfortable. He wasn't comfortable, and that's all right. The coaches,
yeah, no, yeah.
to their credit, I mean, I like Chip Kelly. I get along with him, but it had to be his way in the NFL or no way. But I do like Chip, and he was, you know, a bright guy, but he tried to put sometimes a square peg into a round hole, and it doesn't work. So the coaches, you know, they sit together with the quarterback each week. Hey, what do you like? This is what we like. What are you comfortable with? And when he's not comfortable with certain things, they were okay with that. But they knew they could be better in play action with playing with the quarterback playing under center. But from what I understand, and this is, you know, people are going to take it the way they want, and you know, just stop whining and crying. I'll send you some cheese so you can send these people some along with their wine. But the difference is you when you play under, he wasn't comfortable because he didn't feel comfortable with seeing the defense. You know, I don't know the difference between a guy that's 4 inches taller, but some quarterbacks can process when you're under center, and some quarterbacks process more when you're in the, you know, the shotgun, or you're in the, you know,
Howard,
you're not under
what you're
center.
saying, what you're saying. Listen, Russell Wilson and both Drew Brees said this when they had to go under center. Remember, these guys were shorter quarterbacks too, and
Right.
for them, they had to drop back instead of 7. They had to drop back 9 so that they could see over the
Mhm.
offensive lineman. So maybe it's just getting comfortable again in that pocket.
Well, yeah.
He still takes a ton of sacks.
Okay. And the thing is, I think because of that, the play action works better.
Yep.
And they did that. They've done it the last 2 games. The play action has worked better. And he's throwing the center of the field was a place he never threw to. And obviously, once you start convincing Jalen, that's why, you know, these, and you're one of them that buried Kevin Patullo. I'm telling you, it's not him. It's not him. The offense is really Nick Sirianni's. I mean, let's just break it down. And Nick Sirianni can change a play if he wants to change a play because he's on the same headsets that everybody else is. And he's fine with it. But the players have to execute the play. And here's the other thing. And I think he's got to be, everybody worries about how many interceptions he has. Hey, listen, if you throw the ball, there's going to be an interception. It's going to happen.
That's
You
right.
throw it
Especially
more,
the more volume.
right. He only threw 20 passes. I mean,
Right.
he didn't have an interception. He only threw 20 passes. And that's okay because everything else, the running game worked. Hey, I'm telling you, Saquon Barkley, he was not touched.
No.
He was not touched. It's such, he was not touched.
They were gashing them.
I know. And it is the Giants. I mean, the Giants weren't going to win the game. You're not going to win twice against the same team within a span of 3 weeks. And the Giants just gave up 33 points the week before in the fourth quarter.
Howard, I didn't take anything away from that game whatsoever.
Yeah, the Eagles won, and that's important.
Yes.
That's important.
That's
you know what? I still think the Eagles would have won. It would have been closer. That tush push was a fumble. I mean, let's break it down.
Fumble.
Yeah, that's why when people complain about the officials, it goes both ways. Because that was a fumble. And it was only 7-7 at the time, and they ended up scoring a touchdown.
And that guy did not
drive
off on Quinyon Mitchell. That was a touchdown too.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, in reality, the Eagles would have still won the game.
Yeah.
But it may have been closer. But hey, listen, the offensive line played really well.
Yep.
Saquon, by them playing well, then Saquon Barkley is effective. The other thing that I'd like to see more of, and people are going to take this the wrong way and just knock yourself out. Jalen Hurts has got to stop taking as many sacks. And sometimes you're going to have to throw into a tight window. And I don't know this. It's my opinion based on what I'm seeing. I think he's hesitant to throw into a tight window because and the turnovers are really important. Obviously, you don't want to turn the ball over, but you got to have confidence in your ability. How many times is a receiver going to be wide open, especially when you're throwing in the middle of the field? You got to throw into a tight window.
Howard, the 2 corners were on the practice squad 4 days ago that played in that game. They were like college windows that were open in that game.
Yeah.
So again, like you said, do you believe we're going to learn more coming out of the bye with Packers, Lions, Cowboys, and then I believe Raiders, and then I think it's the Chargers.
Raiders stink.
Bears are in there too. Raiders stink, but
they're going to play a lot of good teams. If they come
they got
away,
a lot of good teams coming up.
People should not be disappointed if they lose 2 or 3 more games. Should not be disappointed because you're playing good teams. They do play the Bears, I think, here in Philadelphia.
Yep, they're getting better. Bears.
And they play Detroit in Philadelphia, so they get a break. They played the Rams, the Lions, and the Bears in Philadelphia.
That's
3
right.
good
They
teams.
go up to Lambeau to play the Packers.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough game. That's going to be a tough game. And it should be a tough game. It's the Green Bay Packers, and they're a good team. It should be a tough game. So I don't think the Giants did what other teams were doing, trying to stop the run and forcing Jalen to pass. But sometimes you just got to throw the ball into a tight window and throw the ball away rather than take a sack. I wonder, everybody is so enamored with quarterback rating is a joke. It's a joke. I don't care about a quarterback rating. I don't even know how they come up with the quarterback rating. Don't worry about the quarterback rating. So if you throw the ball away, it's going to be an incompletion. So it may hurt your quarterback rating. Which is
what
ridiculous.
though? Jimmy Johnson used to tell Terry Bradshaw, he goes, well, what was your quarterback rating? And you know what Bradshaw used to fire back? 4-0.
Yeah, for the Super Bowls. Yeah.
He goes, that's my quarterback rating.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Sometimes, hey, listen, it's better than to take a loss. If it's a sack, it's a loss, rather than just throw the ball. And he'll do it occasionally. Just if you see that you're going to get sacked, throw the ball out of bounds. Just throw the ball out of bounds. And it's sometimes don't hesitate. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback. He is a good quarterback. I get it. But there's certain things, and he got better because he started to take snaps under center. And I noticed that as soon as they did that last week, and again this week, I said, taking more snaps under center. And they've wanted him to do that for at least a couple of years.
You're going to get teams, though, that are going to start adjusting to that now.
Yeah,
especially these good teams. And see, to me, that cosmetic look, I think has absolutely helped his quarterbacking. How do you think he's played in the last 8 quarters?
Who, Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
He's played well. There's sometimes it seems like there's a half here and there. What was the score at the end of the half? Was it 21 to 10?
Something like that.
Yeah, but if
13, maybe something
okay. But the thing is, if that fumble is called the proper way,
totally fumble,
then it's not. Now the Eagles moved the ball, so that's a good thing that they moved the ball. The fact that he's doing more things that the coaches want him to do is making him a better quarterback, and he's just got to continue to go along that progression. And just have confidence in your ability. That's all. Just have confidence in your ability. Nobody's going to jump on you. They'll only jump on you if you lose a game. They're not going to jump. If you throw an interception, hey, listen, the Eagles have won the turnover battle in every win this year. So, and that's important. So, but you just got it. Your defense has got to get your turnovers.
How do you think the defense is playing?
They're not great. They're good.
Yeah.
They're not great. They're not great. They're good. They give up yards. This might be the first game. I should check it. The total yards, because the Eagles had 2 runners to run for 270 some yards. So so the Eagles probably won the yardage differential in this game, which they hadn't done. There was not one game this year that the Eagles had out yarded the other team.
They did
So-
427, 246.
Yeah, okay. So this was the first game they did that. You know, they
Correct.
did it because they had a running game that rushed for 276 yards, and that made everything else work. Jalen only threw for what, 172 yards? Yeah, 20
I think
attempts.
150. I think he had 150 yards, if I'm not mistaken.
It might have been
Well, 179.
172.
He had 179. You're right.
Yeah. So, you know, and that's okay if he throws 20 passes on and they run for Saquon runs for over 100 yards. I think Saquon is obviously still a very good back, but when teams were working against him, once he gets to the second level, obviously he's going to take off, but he's got to get to the second level. You know, it's kind of interesting. I know you guys have been talking about Cam Jurgens and Brett Toth. How many teams has Brett Toth played with in his career?
A ton of teams.
Yeah, I mean, let's see if it's the Giants or if it's another team. Now, Cam Jurgens is probably going to be ready next game.
Well, Dexter Lawrence is a pretty damn good player in there. He's one of the greatest interior guys. But I got to tell you, Howard, I think that back surgery in the offseason,
yeah, it could be.
I think that's played a huge factor with his health because, you know, one thing I really liked coming out of this game was that Landon started and finished instead of coming in and out of the game. I mean, that was the first time there. Let me ask you this here. Do you think the Eagles sent A.J. Brown a message?
Well, before I say that, I'm going to tell you Devontae Smith, I think, is a better wide receiver than A.J. Brown. And that's not outrageous. That's not outrageous.
Nope.
I think he's.
So you think he's now become the number one?
Well, they're both number ones, but I think he's better because I think he's faster. His hands are just as good. He takes a hit as well as anybody. You know, the balls that you have to fight for, he's going to get them just as much as A.J. Brown gets them. Now, they're both terrific receivers. Now, did they send a message? You know, he's the one that has to say that he's hurt. So he decided that he was hurt. I don't know what he thought. If he thought anything he was going to accomplish, and maybe, you know, hamstrings are a touchy thing, and he had a little bit of an issue earlier in the season with the hamstring. So he's just being smart with a bye week. But you can't go the season without both of them and be as good. There's no question.
But can't win the Super Bowl without AJ, right? You agree?
Yeah, you have to have both of them, Devontae and AJ. Yes, but I think Devontae, not by much, but I think he's a better wide receiver, and he just does his job. He just does. And, you know, obviously you saw him make a block. Not that Saquon wasn't going to go to the house on that 65-yard touchdown, but didn't he make a nice block? He made a nice block past the line in the second level. I thought Devontae made a nice block there. So, I mean, he does everything you're supposed to do. But they're both, you need both of them. You need both of them. But I think Devontae is just slightly better. Not by much, but just slightly better. But they're both obviously top flight number one wide receivers.
I don't know what. Are you back? There we go, Howard.
Oh, okay. Did you hear me?
Follow up on that when you said that you believe that he's now become the number. He's now
he's slightly. They're both number one receivers, but I think he's slightly better. But you need both of them if you're going to win a championship. You do need both because you got to have both because you just become so much more effective. They were playing the Giants.
No. Do you agree that when you look at the rest of the NFC teams, Green Bay, Detroit, Los Angeles, Tampa Bay, and Philadelphia, do you agree that those five teams, any one of those teams, could end up playing in the NFC Championship? Do you believe that it's that close? Because I don't. I think everybody's got a flaw. Everybody's got a flaw.
Yes, everybody does have a flaw. It's not lockdown teams anymore in the NFL. But I think now the Eagles have the tiebreaker against the Rams. Right. So that could be interesting. But who was it that said it wasn't me that the Rams played really well in that playoff game against the Eagles? It wasn't me. Somebody else said that.
Well, how about this? I mean, if you think about it,
that was what last year, right?
Yeah. They're a blocked field goal this year, and I think a bad play away from being undefeated right now. The Rams.
Blocked field goal. That was just a stroke of luck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the field goal kicker kicked it a little low, and obviously the Eagles had a good push on the defensive line.
So do you believe that you've learned anything at all from the 8 quarters? Anything? Or are you waiting to see how they line up against Green Bay and Detroit?
Oh, absolutely. You want to see how they play. You get a better gauge of how good the Eagles are. You still haven't played half the season yet. You know,
Right.
you've only played 8 games, so you still haven't played half the season. No, they're good. I just checked it. I was wrong about Brett Toth. Wait a minute. Brett Toth.
I never heard of the guy until he got here.
You know what?
I knew the guy
he
Matt.
actually has played.
I think you were thinking about maybe Matt Pryor because he played on a boatload of teams.
Well, no, he's played with game logs. Wait a minute. I think he's only played with the Eagles, but he's been cut 800 times and he's come back. Yeah, I just think, yeah, actually, when you wait a minute, his, I'm trying to look. Yeah, I think he's only
he played with the Eagles. He's played with the Cardinals.
Okay,
He
right.
played with Carolina and he came back. He's had 3 stints with the Eagles. 19,
Right.
he was on the practice squad. 20 to 23, he was on Philly. And right now to present, so he's had 3 stints and he's played in Carolina and also in Arizona.
Yeah, so he's played a lot of places and he's not stuck, but he played a good game. And again, it's against the Giants, but I don't know that he can be that player every game. But again, the offensive line's got to do the job because then it makes Saquon more effective. And then when Saquon's more effective, the quarterback's more effective. It's kind of a simple breakdown. It really is.
Are you feeling better about Kevin Patullo, or like you said, see, to me, I mean,
You never felt good about
wait,
him.
well,
I
I'll tell you why.
was fine with him.
How can you feel good about a guy who never did the job before?
Yeah, but he's been on the offense. He was an assistant head coach. He's worked with the offense for how many years? He knows what Jalen likes and
That's
doesn't
like saying
like.
a sidekick could do your job. He can't.
Well,
A sidekick can't host a show.
that's apples and oranges. I don't agree with
Okay.
that. I think Kevin Patullo is a sharp guy, and just because you call a play, and when you call a play, and it's not executed properly, or the quarterback sometimes will not make that throw or not make that play, and he has to make that play. And if you were not playing under center up until as much as you were up until the last 2 games, then you're really kind of limited with the play calls with play action that you can have. I know you bury Kevin Patullo. I'm not.
Hold on.
I think he's a sharp guy.
I'm going to go here with your boy Hurts for a second. So you're telling me that Jalen Hurts.
You want me to rip him, and I'm not going to rip him.
Wait. Listen to this on Hurts.
Okay.
So Jalen Hurts, as a quarterback in Philadelphia, never set line protections until he got to the pros, which is he stated and everyone else has stated. And you're telling me he really hasn't played under center? So that's a pro quarterback that's never set protections.
Well, wait a minute. You watched the games.
Never was under center?
Yeah, but you watched the games. He played. He didn't take a lot of snaps during any game under center.
Even in college.
I don't even know about college because hey, listen, he got benched. So, I mean, I don't know what happened there. Why did Nick Saban, is somebody, when you get that brilliant genius on, now he can't get the best players all that. Hey, listen, he's a great coach, but he always got the best players. Now everybody's buying the best players. So it's not like he's going to.
Well, why he benched him was that he knew that Tua was a better thrower of the football. It would utilize the talent in the huddle better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's common sense. I mean, everyone knows Tua was a better thrower of the football than Hurts.
Okay.
And that's why he went with him.
Okay. So, I mean, so he saw something. Here's a guy that got benched. So, and he's better than he was in college. I don't know what he did. Yeah, right.
Way better.
I don't know what he did or didn't do in college, but he's still drafted in the 2nd round. So, I mean, so it's still a pretty good player to be drafted in the 2nd round.
Absolutely. So, Howard, I'll ask you, have you changed your opinion? whether or not you think that this team's a Super Bowl team?
I'm not ready to go there yet. No, I've not changed it. I'm not sure that they're a Super Bowl team. I'm just not sure. You're trying to compare. What we do is, and it's probably not the right thing to do. You compare them to last year. Their defense isn't as good. Would you agree with that?
Completely, not even close.
Okay. Their offense is not as good. Would you agree with that?
Completely.
Okay. So, but are the other teams better? So I don't know. It's just
I think they've lowered their talent level to like they were so good a year ago, and all
Yes, they were.
all the people they lost. I think they lowered their talent to the field. That's
well,
what
but
I
they
think
they couldn't pay everybody. So
That's
I
right.
understand that.
That's
They
right.
can't
That's
pay
right.
everybody. That's what happens when you win. You can't
Right.
pay. You couldn't keep Josh Sweat. You couldn't keep Milt Williams. You just couldn't keep all those people, but you hope the people that you had could develop into players that eventually could be close to those players. So are they a Super Bowl team? I'm not sure yet. They're good. I'm not sure because they're again we have that tendency to compare them to last year, and they're certainly not as good as last year. So, and that's the team that went to the Super Bowl. But there's some, I'm trying to think last year, who were the good teams last year? Were there as many good teams? There was nobody in the division.
No, nobody in the division. I want to say Rams were good a year ago.
And
Minnesota
Minnesota's
and
been
Detroit.
exposed.
That game we never saw a year ago because
Well,
they
yeah,
got
because they
upset
had all those injuries.
by
Yeah,
Washington.
yeah.
I
I
think
don't think the Rams were as good as last year, right?
right. No, I think the Rams got better at because remember they got rolled at SoFi by the Eagles. Then the playoff game was closer, and I thought this last game I thought the Rams outplayed. I thought they outplayed the Eagles in that game.
No,
I
they
mean,
did. It just comes down to
that's right. It came down to special teams.
again they sat on their lead, and that was a mistake. I mean, they still, you still think they're going to win the game by kicking that field goal. That's a 25-yard field goal.
Yeah, they're gonna win.
Where they
that
got
game.
to the 25-yard line. So that's
Yeah.
a nothing field goal. But there's very good teams out there. There are good teams. I don't know that anybody's very good,
Yeah.
but there are good teams out there, and it'll be a challenge. And I'm not so sure that they could beat Tampa if they played them again. They play them here, obviously. I'm not so sure they'd beat the Rams again. Playing in the same season, the Rams knew what they did wrong. Tampa knew what they did
I
wrong.
thought it was poor coaching by McVay at the end.
Yeah, obviously.
Got too conservative.
It kind of felt like you sat on the lead. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's just, I don't know that they're a Super Bowl team. I think they're a good team. There's no question the Eagles are a good team. I just don't know they're a Super Bowl team. And anybody that can tell me, oh yeah, they're going to the Super Bowl. Well, okay.
You know what? And because they're going to go off Minnesota and they're going to go off of the Giant game, they're going to say they're improved. Yeah, well, I'm not going there, and I'm with you on that there. Howard, tell folks where they can find you, my friend.
Okay. Find me everywhere. I'm going to say everywhere. By the way, Wednesday night, 7:30 is live, and then it's on YouTube and all the social platforms forever. Bruce Arians is going to be on. I like
There
Bruce.
you go.
Yeah. Bruce Arians is going to be on. And so live at 7:30 on Wednesdays. And again, you can go back to the platforms and look at the shows after that. Saturday morning, live at 8:00. And I'm on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Twitter, or X. I still call it Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And as you know, when people subscribe to YouTube, as soon as the show goes on, you get notified. And I think if you follow me on Twitter, it'll do the same thing. And then it's on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon Music.
I want to send you some love, man. I mean, you know what? We're big animal people here, and Xander has an ode to his puppy who passed away. He's got a hat that he made, an ode. So listen, we're big animal people around here too, as well. So My heart goes to you, bro. I mean,
I know,
you know what?
it's so tough.
Like a
It's
family
so
member.
tough. I know. I still look for when I come home. I still look
I
for the
got it.
dog waiting at the door. I still look for the dog at night. And then when I went to the refrigerator, she always would come up and she wanted some of the food. And I still miss her going there. It's just I've lost 5 dogs, and this was the
Oh,
last one. And it's never easier. And then I had to be with her when the moment came. But the tough part is when I felt that her heart had stopped because of this situation. It's so hard to forget, but it's just they're our best friends.
oh my
They
God.
are
Dude,
clearly anybody that's
I
had
have,
a pet and a dog knows it's your best
bro,
friend. But
you're
thanks.
damn right. I'll tell you what, I love my animals, man. I mean, there
It's
is no doubt
unbelievable.
about it. So, hey, we send you our love, brother. Okay.
Thanks.
Hey, we will catch
Thanks.
you very soon. Thank you so much as always, Howard.
And you'll get me in trouble again. So you got people to say that, well, I said Jalen Hurts should be benched. I didn't say that.
Oh.
I didn't say that he
How
should be
are you
benched.
suggesting that I threw? Maybe I did a little bit, but now you're saying that Devontae. So here's the
Yeah,
new one.
that's not even that big a deal because
Devontae's a
he's so
better
good.
receiver. But here's how I'm going to phrase it. Howard Eskin says that Devontae Smith's a better receiver than A.J. Brown. Yes or no?
Yeah, but they're both number 1
No,
receivers.
I'm not adding that
You
asterisk
can't.
in.
Well, okay, yeah, you can't just piecemeal it.
Hey, Howard, we'll catch you down the road. Thank you, brother.
All right, see you guys later.
Absolutely great stuff, man. Make sure you catch my friend. Oh, yeah. Hey, make sure you put that out there like that. Don't give Howard any hall passes that, hey, by the way, there's still 2 number 1s, but no way, man. Make sure you check out that fabulous show with Howard. Folks, thank you so much, man. We appreciate you so much. 2 to 6 tomorrow. By the way, Brian Baldinger will be on with us tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We will talk to Baldy and get his thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles. We will see you. By the way, I hate to do this to myself. I got Kansas City tonight over my Commanders. All right. Things aren't looking good for those Commanders here. All right. Big Z. Joe, thank you very much. Catch you 2 to 6 tomorrow. We'll see you on the flip side.